afternoon, everybody. Welcome to day 26 of Adventures in Middle-earth, Wilderland Adventures, Those Who Tarry No Longer. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome, Arvanauts. It is about 12:40 on a Tuesday, July 31st. I'm sorry that we're getting started a little bit late. We had some technical issues that had to get worked through, but we did work through them, and we are, I think, just about ready to go. Before we get started, though, I do want to remind everybody about ways to support the stream. If you have not done so already, please consider 74 days away from 100 days is what it is. Again, for people to support the stream, first of all, follow the channel if you haven't done so already. That is always much appreciated. If you haven't already done so, please consider checking out my YouTube channel, !ArvTube, where you can see past broadcasts of the stream. You can see past examples of these wonderful people that you're about to see engaged in this amazing campaign. !ArvTube will get you over there. !ArvCord is the Discord server where you can hang out with 160 of your closest friends as that continues to grow every day, and contribute and become part of that community over there, which is really, really cool, and I'm glad that we have that open over there. !Arv Tweets will get you over to my Twitter, where, fair warning, I talk about a lot of different stuff, including political stuff. You're probably going to see a whole lot about writing from me, and a lot about Gen Con over the next week or so, because I'm going to be heading out there, which I'll talk more about in just a moment. So that's going to be Arv Tweets. If you can retweet this stream, that would help a lot too. !Tweet would really help, because that would allow you to head over and retweet the stream and let everybody know about it. And then, of course, the ways that you can support the stream financially. !Arv Shop will get you over to my merchandise area, where you can get stuff currently dedicated to Infinity and Beyond, but pretty soon we're also going to have the Espergenesis stuff over there, and some Assignment Unpossible stuff as well. So that's going to be happening too. And then last but certainly not least, of course, in addition to the Arvtreon, we've got the sub. We are currently at about 37 subs, I believe. So we're really close to that 40 sub mark, and today is the last day that you can use inspiration for the month. It all resets as of tomorrow, because it's July 31st today. So now is the time to use your inspirations. Don't save them, because you gotta use them, and hopefully you can do that to help the party get through what it is about to encounter. But we'll talk about that in just a little bit. Now, quick note about scheduling, and actually for this, let me actually get rid of. Let's get rid of that, and let me get rid of, where's my window there, okay, and let's turn on that. There we go. Hi, everybody. Good to see you all. Hope everybody is doing well. And yes, we're busy. We're busy over here. So the schedule is as follows. We have got, of course, Adventures of Middle-earth. There we go. Adventures of Middle-earth on today. Once Adventures of Middle-earth is finished, I'm going to be going over to GOG for my Pen and Pixel show at 4 p.m. Eastern. However, quick note, I am only going to be doing the show today over there for 2 hours until 6 p.m. because literally I've already packed the van, and literally after that stream is over, I'm going to be turning the computer off, gathering up some water bottles, and we're heading out of here. We're going to be hitting the road by 6:30 p.m. because I am going to Gen Con. I'm going to Nerd Mardi Gras, people. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be very busy. I've got a ton of stuff scheduled. I have panels. I have live streams. I have workshops. I've got 2 games that I'm running. A lot of publisher meetings that I can't talk about yet, but I'm very excited about. So a lot of stuff going on over there, and it's going to be one of those like whirlwinds that I'm going to get to the end of Sunday and just be like, and I'm spent. That's how it's going to go. But it'll be all good stuff, so I'm excited. I finally become a Norwegian citizen. No. As much as I loved my time, my vacation, my conference time, vacation time that I spent in Norway, I thought I loved Norway. But that said, not a Norwegian citizen, I'm afraid, no. However, I am very happy to say that I am going to be doing a lot of stuff at Gen Con. So if any of you are in the Indianapolis, Indiana area, if any of you are going to Gen Con, please make sure to stop by and say hi. I recently posted on my Twitter yesterday, I posted my schedule, which is going to be, as I said, very, very busy. So definitely check that out. Quick note about the game side of things, by the way. On Thursday night, I will be doing a live stream from Gen Con, fingers crossed, with the power of this compels you, my new phone. I'm going to be doing an IRL stream in which I will be talking to the fine folks at Assignment Unpossible. So I will be joined by all of the players, by Grimjack, Greg, by That Salty Ginger, Lauren, by Little Red Dot, Chelsea, and by Mike from Unmade Gaming. All 4 of them are going to be there, and we are going to try to do a live stream in-person event from the Writers' Symposium rooms in the Indianapolis Marriott downtown. That'll be at 7 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing the second part of the Carry Warriors episode, which if you didn't see that a couple weeks ago, it's good, folks. It's good. A little creepy, but creepy in a good way. So that's going to be happening Thursday night. And then, of course, Saturday night, I have got Night at the Return of the Forbidden Library. And I am happy to say, if you see this, people, this right here is my 21-page long, all right, 21-page long manuscript of Return to the Forbidden Library. It is complete. The sequel is done. And I am very pleased that it is done, and I think it's good. It came out really well, and so I am very much looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to my webcam stopping flickering. Please stop. Please stop flickering. Okay, good. Please stop doing that. It's really annoying. So yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. It should be good times, and all that kind of good stuff. But today, what we have got for you folks planned, of course, is Adventures of Middle Earth. Because before all that gets started, we have to do some good stuff, and that means we have to play with our wonderful players. And so, with no further ado, I'm going to unmute myself as I usually do. I always feel bad because I know I'm interrupting them when I do that, but it's the only way to actually make this work. And then after that, I'm going to unmute them.
This also makes it easier to remember. You know, it's like,
and last,
what?
I'm going to head over to them. There we go. See, it's all happening. It's all true. To the spectacular players. Every time you do that, Trent, I just keep feeling like I'm in the Brady Bunch. Like just like everybody looking over. No, Brady. Everyone looking up and down at each other.
It's I love it.
Yeah.
There are some people who get completely freaked out because they're like, I know you're not in the same location. He's not actually above you, and every time you look up at him when you talk to him, it freaks me out. And I'm like, you're welcome.
Well, remember, I forget who it was that. Remember, I told you that somebody thought that we were roommates. That they were like, I swore that Trent was your roommate. I'm like, we are not. We are country mates, but we actually live on separate coasts, and we have yet to meet in person. So hopefully someday that will happen, but we have not done so yet. Yeah, when we all grow up and we all become huge successes, we'll just fly using our Cubicle 7 helicopter to get to each other, and
should we not have like why don't we next year at Gen Con just decide to like
this is what I'm saying.
But like flights from Germany to the US are stupid expensive.
But this is why we start fundraising now. Well, not now because I have to go to Gen Con. When we get back for Gen Con, we fundraise. No, I'm serious. Like I've already talked about this with the Esper Genesis people too. I would love nothing more than to get all of the players there and do those like in person so I can see all of you folks. Of course, that would be awesome. But
I would super love that too.
Yeah, no, I really want that to happen. And as far as especially for Amal, Gen Con would be awesome. And I mean, all of us would be interested in it because of the gaming side of things, but Amal and I would love it because of the writing side, of course.
Yeah.
So it's good stuff. But yes, and I forgot to mention that, like I said, I'm going to be at Gen Con doing symposium stuff, and I just saw that I have a panel that I'm doing, a workshop on story building and writing and how dungeon mastering affects writing and writing, the things you can learn from each other. And so there's 90 tickets for it, all of which are sold out. They were supposed to charge a certain amount and they didn't. It was for free. They accidentally listed it for free. So I'm like, I don't know whether to be flattered, pleased, troubled that I was leaving money behind, or if they had charged the normal amount, I would have had like 5 people. Like I have no idea. But anyway, there's gonna be a lot of people there. But if any of you are going to be at Gen Con and want to hear more about what I learn from these wonderful players every time that I do this, come talk to me. Please do at me, for something like that, because it'll be good times. But anyway, I'm very happy to be back with this group again, and I will start as I usually do with the gentleman who was just Brady bunching it just a moment ago, and that of course is my good friend Trendane, who is a wonderful voice actor and a good dude. Trend, how are you? How's life? And who are you playing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm trying to remember somebody posted an image to Twitter. Like that never happens.
That's unheard of
like 2 of the Spider-Man symbiote, Venom and somebody else. Like you can see the 2 guys that are inside of it as the symbiotes are like exploding around them and everything. And they're like, what's going on in this picture? And I was like, this is Mercutio fighting Tybalt. That's obviously what that is. And then suddenly I'm like, oh, now I want to see that scene again. So when I looked it up on YouTube, and watching Michael York as Tybalt is just that was where I first really got into it, and I was gonna watch the whole scene, and I had to stop when he said, "I'm for you, sir." I'm like, "Oh yes, I got that far at least."
Yeah, Mercutio, the tragically underrated. I see Queen Mab hath been with you then. I just saw a quick note. I'm sorry, you just reminded me. I reviewed yesterday for Curtain Up. I saw Shakespeare in the Park. I lived in New York for how many years, and it's the first time I got to see Shakespeare in the Park. So I got to see the new Twelfth Night production, which is a musical. It's very, very good. And I want to make a quick note, which I think all of you will appreciate. I'm walking out of the theater, and my wife and I are walking along, and behind us, we hear this group of people, and this couple in particular that's talking to each other about like, oh, you know, this one guy's like, well, I thought it was, you know, it was interesting. And yeah, but that's not, the thing is, why do I have to call this Shakespeare? Because I mean, like, there's a lot of it, all the music. I mean, why on earth would they be doing this? And I'm like, how to misunderstand Shakespeare in 3 easy steps. Step 1, believe that he wouldn't want the most energy and democratic approach to this, and it's a radically inclusive production. So there's deaf signing going on during the time. It's also a very inclusive cast period. It's got professionals and community members. There's literally 100 community members that they bring in as a part of this. Step 2, believe that Shakespeare actually thought to himself that what I really need is to make it harder for people to see my productions or be a part of them. And step 3, to believe that theater itself doesn't evolve. That's how you misunderstand Shakespeare. So I bring this up just to say, nothing proves to me more how wonderfully gifted Shakespeare was than the fact that his work works equally well in a setting like I just saw, which had incredible amounts of joy and excitement and just a theater under the stars of his wonderful storytelling combined with a diverse cast. It was very moving. It was a great show. And these people need to get the hell out and go watch their 1950s black and white stuff, because I am very, very pleased that we have such a vibrant theater community that actually does stuff like that. Sorry, Tren, it's just been on my mind because I just saw it last night. Really good stuff. So congratulations to Public Works. You have a very good 12th Night production on your hands. Sorry, on you go, Tren.
That's okay. And some of that black and white stuff is actually pretty good.
I know. I'm making a point about where they think it actually stopped. Yeah.
Where were we?
I think you were about to talk about who you were playing, but
that would be it. Yes, I am playing Tonnebear, the Hearthminder, who is a little confused by confused, and he's in that exact pivot moment where the needle goes from what's going on over to oh no,
yep.
Right in that moment. That's where we are.
Yep, that's exactly right. We'll see what happens. A dream. Suddenly I thought of the Princess Bride. Dream within a dream. I've been reading The Princess Bride to my daughter.
So. All right.
Marriage. Love, twoo, love. Oh God, I love that movie. Anyway, but a pleasure to have Tren back with us. Now, the reason that Will is currently not available, I won't get into details as to why, but Will's dealing with some personal stuff. He will hopefully be joining us a little bit late. He should be here, I think, sometime soon, but I can't promise it. But you know, Will has very good reasons, so hopefully we will see him. But if not, the intrepid rest of the fellowship will manage with the even more silent and taciturn than normal Robar Staunton. And at least you won't have to worry about crossing the Anduin, so that'll be fine. So I look forward to seeing how the party manages that. But Will, of course, manages encounter roleplay and is a good guy and all that good stuff. Moving right along down the line, we have someone who is wearing an awesome hat. And that, of course, is Tarry Tunes. Hi, Tarry. How are you?
I'm doing good. Luckily, it has cooled down here a bit after the enormous heat wave that was going on here. For people wondering what's going on with the background and everything, I'm not at home right now. I am at my boyfriend's house. So yeah, like, never mind all the old-timey buildings, furniture stuff. That's
I like it. You got an awesome clock back there. And this is good stuff.
Hate that clock.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Get out! Clock.
Because I mean, it's turned off right now, but like this thing is so stupidly loud.
Oh well.
It goes off every 30 minutes, and it's just like, yeah, no.
Yeah, because they want to notify you, like, here's the actual deal. That would have been funny if you had forgotten and it had gone off like in the middle of. Just don't I wake up from that? No, you don't actually.
You have to feel your mortality. You just have to feel
yes.
it.
Especially when you're outside chopping wood, you need to be able to feel it out there too.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Come forth, peasant. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's a pleasure to have you back with us, Tarry. Who were you playing today?
I am playing Inge, daughter of Ida. She is a dwarf from the mountain Erebor, and she is a wanderer, and by trade she is a stonemason, and she also has a very cute and awesome pony sidekick called Lilleman.
Yes, and Lilleman and Stone, who again, so a buddy movie someday will actually happen. Always a pleasure to have Tarry with us. It's going to be good times, and now we've switched hats. So we have a different hat again. Is this going to happen the whole time? I was like, listen, that's fine. If you want to change hats on me every 10 minutes. But moving right along down the line, last but certainly not least, of course, we have just back from her jaunt through the UK and through Scotland is Amal. Hello, Amal. How are you? And how was Scotland? And who were you playing?
Scotland was wonderful. This was my first time back in 2 years, basically, when I used to live there and stuff. So it was great. I managed to catch up with almost everyone who I wanted to see. And special shout out to Carrie, who may possibly be watching because I told her about this Twitch and she said she would, and she's in Scotland, so hello.
Awesome.
But anyway, I am playing a character called the River. She is a warden who is also a woodsman of Rosgobel, it's a village of woodsmen, and she's a fighty bard who is very concerned right now.
And understandably so, given the circumstances that the party finds themselves. So let's talk about that. For those of you who missed... oh, yes. Sir.
One quick thing.
Yes.
By the time we finish playing, the Kickstarter will actually be over, but mentioning Stone reminded me. The Doggies and Dungeons, or Dungeons and Doggies Kickstarter will be finished by the time we finish this. And I was suddenly imagining you having a little miniature of Stone and painting it. And I was looking at the things, and I think probably the German Shepherd Druid would probably be the best fit. Sorry,
wait, I should look at this.
Jesus, it's raised almost $500,000. Good God!
Yes, I will.
Dungeons and Doggies.
I'm putting it in chat right now.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Doggies.
Yeah.
Wow. I remember seeing this. Yeah, because of the miniature. Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, see?
In Canadian dollars, that's significantly more than you said.
Wow. Tedric the Chihuahua Rogue. So it's literally just it's dogs that are actual. Yeah.
And they've got 5e rules that go with each breed and everything, and it's really fun.
You realize, of course, that 485,000 of this was for the miniatures, right? Like, you realize that's why people just saw them and are like, okay.
Oh my gosh, I think you're right too. That I think that Freya, the German Shepherd Druid, is a good fit, but also, the tallest one probably.
Yeah.
These are adorable. I love them.
Svetlana the Beagle. I call shenanigans. I had a beagle. Svetlana the Beagle Barbarian does not work. It's something like the Beagle Bard, because their voice, that they have a beautiful howl. Beagles do.
But that would be actor, then
that's listen. I mean, this is just
the Pomeranian monk though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
They did a live stream where they painted that one. That is gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, sorry, I derailed the whole thing. Sorry.
Oh my god, that's funny. Yeah, the entire next 2 hours. Oh, we're just gonna,
It's really good. I'm sorry. These are great. These are absolutely great. Yeah.
Look at the numbers shooting up as we're looking. Like someone just donated another $300. See, that's what we need to do when we actually do the whole fundraising effort to get everyone together. We just need to be like big letters, dogs and horses and cute ponies and bunnies, and then subtext, please get Tarry to Gen Con. Like that's the actual subtext. But everyone's like, I'm doing this for miniatures, right? Like that's what I'm doing. And oh man, that's awesome. Anyway, so check that out. That's cool. I remember now having seen that, but I had forgotten that's what it was called. In any case, so what happened over the last couple of sessions, these folks have been escorting an elven princess, Irame, from the western eaves of Mirkwood over to the eastern side of the Misty Mountains, where she was supposed to be met by several representatives from Rivendell. During the way there, though, they found that things were not, as might perhaps have been expected, the way that they had planned them to go. For one thing, they were pursued by a party of orcs, and more than just a small little party. They managed to get rid of a few of those orcs, but there were a lot more where those came from, and the party only really escaped thanks to the intervention of the Eagles, who appeared with the Lord of the Eagles, brought them up to their eyries, which was great, and everyone had a good time and was excited about that, and then dropped them back off in a very familiar familiar place to some of the adventurers, because Tawny Bear and Robar and Inga had actually been in the ruins where these people had been before. Several adventures previous to this, several years before this. This is where Tawny Bear had been taken away and basically submerged within a marsh while they fought this strange, bizarre, undead, white-like creature and battled it. And so there were a lot of memories around this particular place. However, didn't seem to be a problem at the time. They got as far as they could, but couldn't quite get into the high pass when they decided that they were going to camp for the night. And that's when things got really strange. Irame was singing this pleasant, lovely song for them to listen to, and as the companions gradually drifted off into sleep, everything seemed to be more or less okay. And then they woke up in apparently a different time and place. The ruined town was now built up and looked new and fresh. There was a whole marketplace of people that were gathered around and chattering to each other, and there was no sign of Irame or any of the other elves. It was just the party members. Party members, being naturally suspicious, said, what is going on, since we're all apparently collectively having this dream. Although, I don't know, maybe I'm just running this adventure separately for all four of you, and none of you know who's actually here and who isn't. But that they went into the village and started to talk to some people and basically kind of decided we need to find out what's going on. Found an inn, an alehouse called the Falling Goat, and met a few people within there. First of all, Aldor, who was the person who basically runs the inn, found a woodsman, minstrel, and apparently roguish type of figure named Geb. Seems like a friendly sort, but who likes to kind of sound a little bit like Martin Short, like that. And then found a child, Haleth, who was an older child who was very, very intrigued by Robar and how awesome and warriorly he looked. And then last but certainly not least, found someone who said that she was an elf from Mirkwood named Rodwin. And they were just starting to chat with some of those people when they heard the sound of this alderman returning. The alderman of the town had supposedly left some time before and finally was coming back. And as the party the fellowship went up to the second floor to look out the window, they actually saw the alderman being brought with a bunch of other people in the group. There was a huge group of guards, a large number of men in strange red armor that was following them. And as the party was looking at each other and saying, essentially, I have a very bad feeling about all of this, and had a sense of doom, the alderman says to everyone, people of Haycombe, people of the north, your true lord has returned. And then, as it says right here in the line, as I'm reading it, and then the killing begins. And so this is where we basically left it. And so what I will explain to the party, and then I will give it to them, is that the first thing that you see, the killing begins, is the men in red armor pull out these somewhat curved swords and immediately strike any people around them. It looks actually as if they're attacking some sort of town guards first, such as they are, but the town guards are utterly overmatched. I mean, first of all, there's way more of these guys in the red armor. Secondly, they're clearly much more gifted with their weapons than these folks are. So it's really kind of men against boys in terms of the actual battle structure. And after they're done with that, they start to turn to some of the rest of the people as well. So the question now is, what do you want to do? Because you can actually see there's screaming, there's people rushing around, and you can also see there's some guards pointing, some of the men in the red armor are pointing at the falling goat. And you hear sort of Aldor calling downstairs for help and assistance. And this music does not fit. I'm going to put in much faster music like that. Yes.
I just want to point out that, like, for people who might have missed last time, or people who have been watching for a long time, might remember that last time we went to this ruin here, we found an amulet, like a really old one, and that is the same amulet apparently that, the big bad guy is wearing.
The torch that he's wearing.
Correct. That is right.
Okay.
So I have another question.
Sure.
Who's controlling Robar?
That is an excellent question. I will put that back to you. Who's controlling Robar?
Well, I mean, it's not like he ever says anything, so...
Right. And as long as any one of us can go,
I don't know about that.
Stare into the distance with a frown.
No, it's up to you. I mean, and I can have whoever control them. So I can add someone to be able to control them. Actually, you know what? My suggestion might be you, Tren, because Tawny might not get up close and personal to the same degree.
Not like he's going to be fighting a whole lot.
Right. That would be my thought. I mean, I don't know if you're cool with that, but that would be my thought.
Fine with it.
All right. And I'm going to put his
Since
stuff.
you're already doing it.
Yeah. Well, no. I was figured I'd save time. All right. So,
we're upstairs in this inn, right? We're at
yes,
one
you were in the
above
second
floor.
floor, looking out of the window. Correct.
Okay.
Oh, I thought we were outside.
No. Second floor.
Second floor. So
Because of the crowd. Because remember, you got a lot of people down there, sort of screaming, shouting.
Like our immediate surroundings, I would like to know. So there's a window. Is it like maybe like a roof before the window, or like?
No, you're in. So you're in on the second floor. There's only 2 floors to this place. You've got the window that's looking out. There's nothing above it, but you could theoretically try to. The window is pretty wide, so you might be able to open it and maybe like pull yourself up onto the roof. I mean, it's not 100% clear how close the roof is to the window, but this is the top floor. So.
So I think that what River is going to do is say, all right, we don't know if this is a dream or not, but this feels very real. I think. Inga, can you shoot from the window here? Can you take aim at any of these people?
I should be able to, right? Like this should be like a very good vantage point here.
So the answer to that is yes, but because there is such incredible confusion, which is obviously, I mean, that was obviously done on purpose. You can tell that this was all set up this way because they are completely ill-equipped to handle, whatever it is going on right now. So yes, you might be able to shoot. It might be hard though to get a hold of to not hit somebody else. I mean, it's.
So it's probably wiser to go into like downstairs and face them head on.
That is correct. And actually, I just realized that I accidentally didn't put the map for this up. Give me just a second. Let me upload it. I'm like, where's the map? I'm like, I don't. So just hold on a second.
Man.
So you guys can keep talking about what you want to do while I am, hurriedly rush to get the maps that I don't have.
Yeah. No. We should like go downstairs. This is like way too difficult to shoot anybody. So like, let's go, guys.
All right.
And Inga starts running downstairs.
Okay. Tawny, will you be able to help barricade the doors, or we should probably get out in front of this and then see what you can do about barricading the doors and windows downstairs.
All right.
So Stone and River will also run down.
Oh! Before like Inga runs down. Wait, Arf is Arf right here? Currently here?
Me? What?
Oh yeah, there you are.
I'm here.
Are there like maybe any weapons in this room, like on the walls or something?
On the hall, like because you're in a hallway right now. No. This looks very much like it was designed for, it looks like it was designed to be an inn, not to be a warrior place.
Yeah, well, I mean, like maybe somebody put like some weapons for decoration, and that's just like thinking, like maybe we can like bring weapons to the people outside, so that they can defend them.
Right.
Okay, so like while Inga's running down, she keeps an eye out for anything that could be used as a weapon.
Okay.
I'm imagining antlers on the walls, like the things that usually decorate a pub or things like that. Would be...
Wrong character. I do have a dwarven D&D character who has antlers on her helmet. But no, wrong game.
All right. So we got this.
Any wounded, send them inside to me.
Yes.
Okay. And so as you get down downstairs, I feel like one of those like those news camera things where they're doing the universal sign for stretch, stall as I'm getting this stuff uploaded. I really can't believe I forgot that. Okay.
Oh, we were busy talking about.
No. I know entirely why. It's because I've been spending the last couple of days getting ready for. I was packing all yesterday. Okay. Right. I will be just about there. But as you get downstairs, you can see that. You can see that Aldor is crying out, "Please, somebody, help me!" And you can see that he's holding the door shut, but it's not totally closed. Like basically, it's half like. It looks as if it's bulging, as if it's not entirely closed, and you can see there's him and also the child, Haldeth is there. Haleth is there, and they are both pushing at this door, which is gradually starting to open. Clearly, something is trying to push on the other side to get in.
Bull rush.
Okay.
Tawny's just charging for the door, and he's just going to slam into it and drive it shut with his mass.
Okay.
Yeah, Inga is helping.
Okay. I would like then, let's have it be. Let's have you make an athletics check, Tawny, and I'll have and Inga will be able to help you to the tune of, let's say, +3.
So I don't need to roll anything.
So that would be a 10.
That would be a 10. Yeah, so you can see that it's still kind of, the sort of door's opening speed slows, but it's still opening.
River will add to that also.
Okay.
Because she wants to get out there, but clearly not through this door. So the priority is getting the door shut.
Okay.
While Inga is like also holding back the door, she's like shouting to like anybody else who might be there. I'm assuming there are like people like guests of the inn, right? In the room,
Yes,
like...
there are a few, although actually slightly working in your favor is the fact that, well, I don't know, it depends on what you want to do with them, that downstairs there's not a lot of people there other than the ones that I already mentioned. You can see, by the way, that Geb is currently sort of cowering in a corner occasionally. Like, it almost looks like he's tuning his lute, but you find it hard to believe that he's actually doing that. Maybe it's just a nervous habit.
River already tuned that lute.
Yeah, no, exactly. Which is
he's untuning it now.
He's untuning it. It's even worse.
Ah!
Okay, now I think
so
we have
like
fixed
Inga
this.
is shouting to the other people there. Here, like bring tables.
Okay, so the elf immediately helps you. Okay, that's not the place. There we go. Now I've brought the players over. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. So, this is the internal plan of the inn, which is why you're able to see the whole thing. So this thing over to the right side here, this is the upper floor. And you just came down these stairs right here. And so basically as you came down here is where you saw the this door right here. That's the outer door that currently is being slammed into and being tried to be pushed open. So...
And there's a back door here?
And there is that's actually a window. These are all windows around the outside. Now some of them are shuttered, not all of them are, but some of them are.
Right. And okay.
Okay, I'm dragging people onto the thing, although I don't know.
Wait, which was the entrance door? To the south.
This one, yeah.
Right here.
Oh, okay.
Yep. I don't know why you guys are not showing up on. Why are you not showing up on this map? Oh, there we go. Aha. All right. There is Inga. And let's get River down there. There's River. All right. Okay. And of course, Stone. I believe, by the way, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, Inga, you had someone taking care of Lilimon. I think it was Haleth originally, right? He was in the stable, yeah. So... yeah, at the moment, now the stable is near the back of the inn. Most of the action seems to be the front, but pretty much you hear just sort of roaring and kind of basically screaming and howling everywhere you look. By the way, some of these sounds are distinctly not human ones. There are definite inhuman sounds to go along with the human ones.
What do they sound like?
It's a kind of sort of a kind of a airy hissing almost.
Great. That definitely sounds both friendly and welcoming. So, yeah.
Land shark. No, it's not that. It's like candy cram. No, it's not. None of those things are true.
Actually, sir, I'm a dolphin.
I'm a dolphin, sir. I'm Gumpy, damn it. No, okay. So, all right. So now River is going to come and help as well. Okay. So in that case, I'll let you make another check. This door is getting to the point where if you don't close it, it's going to open. So go ahead and make this check again, Tawny. But this time you can do it because of the two of you. I assume one of you moves Haleth out of the way, who's trying, but he's just not, you know.
I'm going to grab him by the back of the shirt and...
Stone will like herd him away.
Okay, he's like you can tell by the way that Haleth's eyes are wide in fear, even though he was trying to help with the door. And I will let you do this at +5 because you've got the 2 plus Aldor.
I mean, what is Rabar doing as well? Should he be?
Well, there's only so many people that can fit next to the door.
Right.
So if you want to have him do that, you can, but you can't have all of you there because remember, Aldor's already there.
Robar can help carry a table over.
Okay.
That's true. Yeah.
That's fine. And by the way, you should see, as you can see there's a lot of these tables around here. All of these are functional and can be moved. Some of them are pretty large, so they're kind of the equivalent size of sort of boulders and things like that. And there's also some scattered pots and crocks and stuff like that you can see, which are not really obstacles, but could be used to, I don't know, throw in the way of the path.
Hey,
or something like
Samwise used some pots to pretty great effect.
yeah, no doubt about it. So.
And we've all seen Tangled, right? So, like, give me a pen anytime.
I have not seen Tangled.
No!
Get out.
I know.
Then you would, if you would have seen that movie, you would know that frying pans are the most effective weapon in
It's true.
like combat and stuff.
They are pretty great.
I love Nautival's like, can the whispery non-human sounds be performing a musical number? You casually hear, one singular sensation. That's funny. I love it, Nautival. All right, so go ahead and make your roll this time, Tani, but again, you're doing it at +5, so same thing, athletics check.
Also, legend. Cookware was used to great effect in legend.
Yes, true. 10 plus 5, 15. Okay, so yeah, so you now actually are able to push it much closer, a little bit like tug of war. So you've almost got it closed now. You've actually reversed it. You hear hissing on the other side, and coming through the edge of the door as you're trying to close it, scrabbling at you, you see what is very clearly a skeletal hand, like an arm is around the corner, like reaching for you, Tawny.
River is going to immediately like take an axe out and go whack.
Make an attack, please.
And Robar has an arrow knocked and is waiting for something to come through that window that's right next to the door.
Okay.
Wait, so the door's closed, right?
Not yet.
Sorry.
Not quite.
Um,
It's literally his arm. The arm of this thing is in between the edge of the door. And...
yeah, like Inga takes her axe and chops that arm off.
Okay, so let's have the attack happen with
Yeah.
River first, and then we'll see what happens with with you.
I'm using just one hand axe, I think.
Yep. Wow. All right. So what's max
Nice.
damage on that?
That is, well, the max damage would be 6. It'd be 12, I guess.
12. Okay,
Wait.
that's what I thought. So you just
12 plus 3.
12 plus, yeah, because your strength. So 15.
Oh.
You just slam the like it shatters. You hear this, and the door slams shut. And Aldor has this big. There's a big sort of wide wooden beam on the other side of it, plank really, that he's able to lower across. And then you hear this as things are bashing against the door. You also see that some of the windows that are not shuttered, you can actually see movement around those, also around the inn. And Haleth, as I mentioned, is kind of huddled over with Stone. Gab continues to be like, the warriors of the night. Like, you know, he's trying to sing. It's not really working out for him. And Rodwen, the elf, turns to you and says, we have no hope of surviving here if we can't barricade the rest of these places. These windows must be closed.
As the doors closed and the beam comes down, can Tawny just turn around and say, they have a cave troll? No.
Yes, I hope so. Well, now that you mention it, I'm happy to add a cave. No, no, there is
Well,
no
I
cave
would love
troll.
to see a cave troll outside during the day. Yeah, go ahead, bring
Yeah,
it.
that would be great. Yeah, no, we do not have a cave troll. But clearly there are skeletal figures. There's clearly some of the undead.
Okay.
Yeah, Inga is like gotta run over to Gap and like grab him by the collar and be like, snap out of it, help us.
Okay.
River is going to move towards the other windows and say, we need to barricade the windows, and go to do that. And we'll, I mean, I don't know that you can actually communicate this to Stone, but Stone will just be like, you know, keeping Haleth in the safest spot that he can for now. In the fireplace? I see the logic there. But River is also going to call out and say, maybe everyone should get upstairs. Is there a back way from here? Is there a way out to the back?
Aldor says, Not on the first floor, except through the largest window in the kitchen. And as he says that, you hear this shattering and smashing sound coming from the kitchen.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay. I think.
To the kitchen.
Yeah. Are you running to the kitchen?
Yeah.
Okay. River, meanwhile, is gonna attempt to barricade the windows in the front room, but as soon as she is able to, see that done, she's gonna go to wherever it sounds like there is damage happening.
Okay. So let me quickly grab something then.
There is a window right there. Window there, and then there's.
I didn't see where that was. Like, are we here?
I'm not clicking.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay, there we go.
I wasn't clicking to ping. So yeah, we are all here. So there's that window there.
Yeah.
There's this window here.
Mm-hmm.
This door. I presume this is a door.
There we go.
There's this right where that skeleton just showed up. There's a thing. There's a window here.
Yep.
There's a window here.
Now, you don't yet hear, I mean, other than the general sort of howling, shrieking outside, screaming, and all that, you don't hear anything specifically outside in terms of, like, right next to the, you don't basically hear right next to the windows, except for in the kitchen. And as Inga gets to the kitchen, you see, to your horror, Inga, I assume it's your horror, you see clambering through the sort of shattered piece. Now, the one side of the wooden shutter is still intact, but the other one has been smashed through, and clambering through is this very nasty-looking skeleton, which, as it looks at you, sort of clambers through and sees you and points at you, and in a strange voice, and says some strange tongue that you don't recognize. But it seems to you, now you've fought, creatures of evil places before, Inga, but you don't recognize this at all. It seems very ancient and strange, and its eyes glow with a pale blue fire. And it reaches out for you, and as it does that, I'm going to ask all of us at this point to roll initiative, please.
Tracker.
Yeah,
So
I
this
know.
is a
I'm on it.
skeleton with blue glowing eyes, yes?
Yes.
Does it have a scythe, perchance, a black cloak?
It does not have a scythe, and in fact, it doesn't. It actually doesn't have even a weapon. It has basically
Does it
just.
have a, like, pitchfork and wear a straw hat and overall?
it has. Sadly, it does not. It does not.
Aw.
I know. It would be so nice if it does. It does, however. I will say that it does have tatters of sort of armor and a couple of tabards. And in fact, Inga, since you're mentioning what it looks like, I'm going to give you a chance. You guys can keep doing your initiative rolls, but I want to actually give you a chance to make a perception roll, because as you're looking at it, something seems strange about the clothing of this thing.
I rolled initiative without selecting my token, which I didn't realize I had to do. Should I roll it
8.
again, or are you taking that roll?
I can add it.
Okay.
I can. Well, let's see. So Tani got an 8. I just gotta make sure that I delete the ones that are not correct.
Critical on my initiative.
Let's see. Yeah. There's something that jogs your memory about the clothing that you're seeing, Inga, but you don't exactly know what it is yet.
Can I quickly also just because it was a bony undead hand and everything? Can I make a lore check to see if I know anything about how to
when
deal
you
with
see it?
that?
But you don't. Oh, you mean through the
like,
door?
Well, I mean, she just chopped off a skeletal hand, so
Well, so maybe what did you want to do the lore check to see?
to see if she knows anything about how to deal with the undead or anything about them.
Oh, I mean, that actually, you don't even have to make a lore check to do that.
Okay.
You know that the undead, the horrifying thing about the undead is that they don't stop. Even when you basically, to get rid of them, you have to destroy them and...
You have to remove the head or destroy the brain, right? Is that
well, that's the zombie style.
Zombies,
but
yeah.
even in the skeletal style, like, you know, that's the kind of thing where they'll keep at... You think stepping out of character for a moment, think Terminator when the body's been destroyed,
Yeah.
right? Like, it'll keep coming because they are animated by evil magics. But the other thing you know is that they are generally not just formed out of nothing. Skeletons have to be created from previously existing things, just as the orcs are twisted versions of elves until later moments that wouldn't come into this yet, but until a certain bad wizard maybe makes something 50 years in the future. Most of the time they are I know. Spoilers.
Never happen.
But that's the sort of thing that you twist previously existing creatures. In other words, these were people once.
Right. Does she know, like, are they susceptible to fire or things like that? Or
No, but they are susceptible probably more to smashing than to slashing. You can still do damage like that, but smashing things like, heavy boulders, hammers, that kind of thing may work a little bit, be a little more effective against that.
Okay.
Also, you can't poison them, which I would hope be obvious, but just in case anyone's curious. Okay, so I've got Inga with a 22. I've got, let's see, River with 20. Is that...
Oh, is that right? I think it was...
Because you rolled 16 and you got your initiative, because I see it here.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, it says 16. I thought I just added the 4.
Oh, you rolled a 12 and then it got to the 4. Okay.
Oh,
Maybe.
okay.
I don't know, because let me see.
Yes, 12 plus 4.
Okay, so it was a 16. Okay, yeah, then I'll just adjust your number then in the initiative tracker. Okay, so now you're in the right spot. Okay, and Inga with a 22. Trent, can you roll for Robar? I think you have access to it. Oh, you did?
Yeah, he got an 18 and I got an 8.
He did get an 18. Okay, so that all worked. Okay, lovely. All right. So we've got Inga with a 22. I again want to point out amazingly how much this works narratively so much of the time.
Yeah.
Where, of course, Inga's the first one to go because she's like,
Yeah.
"Do you see the skeleton with the thing and the stuff?" Now, one quick check, by the way. Do you folks have? I have a few of you at levels of exhaustion, and I think that's still the case, right? Because you were going to be resting from it when this happened, when you entered this dream.
Yeah.
Okay, so
At the 1 level.
right, and I have Inga at 1 level, and I have Robar at 1 level, but Tani's okay.
Correct.
And Stone is okay. Also, for some reason, I have Stone marked twice. I don't know why.
He's twice the dog that
Twice
anyone
the dog that anyone thought.
Oh, quick question. I'm
Sure.
just like looking over my sheet right now. Like hit dice is equal to level, right?
Hit dice? Yes.
Yeah.
And right now you're at 20. I have you at 26 out of 20 hit points, by the way.
No,
too.
no, not hit points. I was just saying, like, why do I only have 2 hit dice even though I'm level 3? Like.
Yes, you should have 3.
You should have 3, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, Robar is going to be this one. Okay. And let's see, River's at 16. As is Stone. And Tawny is at 8. Okay. And let's find out when the bad guys go. When do the Horde of the
Destroy
Dead
them
go?
all. Before they can move.
Oh man. Alright. Right. Good to know.
I'm just thinking of that like first episode or so, or second episode of Rune Soldier, where like Louis tries to defeat a bunch of zombies by casting a sleep spell on them. Like all his teammates are like, "What kind of stupid magician are you? This doesn't
funny.
work. They're undead.
That is
Have
funny.
you not read the rule book?"
That's funny. They actually, for some reason, this reminded me of a movie starring Billy Zane, a Crypt Keeper movie of all things. God knows why I watched that. But where they're sort of inside this house trying to keep Satan from coming in and getting the last of Christ's blood and thus destroying the world. It's kind of an involved thing. But anyway, it was mostly, I just enjoyed the barricading part of it. I think it was in the days before I realized I will never watch horror movies again. So
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, let's get started with Inga. So Inga, you were the first to act. There is a skeleton again that has just crawled through and is pointing at you with the blue flame eyes, etc.
Well, the problem is that this door opens to the inside, so I can't really barricade.
True.
So I guess I'm gonna shout to everybody else in the room first, like, "There's a skeleton here!" And then I'm gonna storm in with my axe and try to chop it down.
Okay, and you hear Haleth, a skeleton? And Geb is sort of just kind of, skeletons. It's all right. We're fine. We're just fine. You remember Ellis in Die Hard? That's basically, we're okay. It's okay, everyone. We're fine. We're just fine.
Yeah. I'm sure this is where Robar will, in his attempt to calm everybody, will say, "It's all right. There's one inside you too."
That's pretty much what he would do.
Oh, is this a skeleton war happening? Yes.
All right, so you go in towards this skeleton. Okay, as you go in, you can see that does not have any, as I said, weapons or shields. It is hunched over, and you can actually see, Inga, rather unpleasantly, there is still a little bit of flesh hanging on these bones.
Yeah.
So go ahead and make your attack.
Yes, I'll make my attack. So close.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, what's wrong with that? Yeah, you definitely hit.
Okay, good. Yeah, but just because the other one was a natural 20. That would have been nice.
That would have been nice.
So 8 damage.
Okay. All right.
Slashing,
more.
Slashing though, since you said slashing.
Well, yeah, it's just that this it actually does the same amount as it would normally. You just get the impression smashing might be more, or bludgeoning basically might be more effective, but
I don't have any bludgeoning weapons.
Yeah. So, but this still does damage to it. You smash into its rib cage. There's some things that fleck off. It kind of staggers back, and then comes in at you again. Okay. You are there. That leads us to Robar. What is Robar going to do?
Robar's going to head back that direction to give an assist to Inga. Excuse me, Inge.
Thank you. You remembered.
Yes. And as he's walking into the kitchen, he kind of looks at his bow and looks at all of the empty space in a skeleton and is like, and just grabs a kettle and swings.
Okay. I like it. An improvised weapon probably makes more sense in this case. So let's have you do just a regular basic attack, strength attack. I think we'll assume 1d6 for the damage here if we hit.
Okay. 5.
That is not going to get it done, unfortunately. So he actually misses as the skeleton sort of swings of the way, hisses at him angrily. And actually, just to place this properly, I'm pretty sure that Inga is up here.
Yeah.
And Robar up there. Okay. Now, one quick note, by the way, for those of you dealing with exhaustion, just a quick reminder, you have only the one level, so that means that you have disadvantage on ability checks. Now, that didn't obviously count for Tani when he was doing the athletics check, but be aware of that for Inga, Robar, and River. Okay. That leads us to River, and Stone will be up next. What do you want to do, River?
So are we assuming that the barricading of things happened before combat started?
Well, some of the barricading has been done, but not all of it. There's still obviously the kitchen to attend to, and you're not 100% sure about what's going on back here, although you don't hear any smashing coming from there yet.
Okay. The first thing she's going to start moving towards towards the kitchen.
Okay.
What are the distances here? Like, can she get to the kitchen this turn?
Probably 5 feet per
Yeah, I
square.
believe it's 5 feet per, but let me just confirm. Should be... Yeah, it's 5 feet.
Yeah, that would be a 20 by 25 foot kitchen. That's a sizable kitchen.
Yeah. No, it's 5 feet. So if you'd be able to get on normal speed. Your speed's like probably 30, I would guess.
Yeah, I think so. Does it actually say?
Top center, right next to it.
Yes, yeah.
That would put you about here if you were to go straight back that way. Unless you wanted to double move, in which case you could get up farther.
Is that an option? To just like
Sure, you can double move. It just means you can't take another action after that.
Right, gotcha. I think basically what she wants right now is to get Haleth up the stairs and kind of move Stone and Haleth upstairs.
Okay.
And make sure that who else is in this inn? There's useless Geb, there's useful elf lady, and there's Haleth. Right?
And there's Aldor, who is the innkeeper himself.
And
Who
Ilgo. No.
Sorry. Yeah, exactly. No.
We have Baldor and Belgo, and now we have Aldor and Elgo.
Aldor and Algo, yeah. And there's on the second floor, there may be a couple of people staying in the rooms, but they have not emerged, if so. So it seems like most of them were out with the market, actually.
Okay. So what she's just gonna say as she's moving towards the kitchen, you know, saying this to whoever is nearest to hand, be it Aldor or sorry,
Geb or
no, the elf lady.
Rodwin.
Oh.
Rodwin is her name.
Rodwin, sorry. Just to, I mean, they're already barricading the windows. She's gonna assume that's that's like them doing that. But
Yeah.
She's gonna say, once that's done, get upstairs, get somewhere where you can hide or get out of here.
Okay. She nods, like she's up here at the moment, and so she nods at you as she kind of slams some shut. You notice, by the way, that as something was kind of coming through, you saw her like satisfactorily forearm bash whatever was trying to push through, and then slam shut the window, and then nod at you.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, she's gonna move towards the kitchen, and sort of because I see where like Stone is here, to try and like nudge Haleth and Stone towards the stairs and tell Haleth to hide upstairs as well.
Okay. So go ahead and move your token. They listen. I mean, Haleth is not, is able to. He's clearly very frightened, but he's not. He's functional. And Stone obviously is. He's been through this. He's been through the wars before, although he looks obviously understandably nervous. But he goes with you. Haleth seems to, of course, really like Stone, so he's hanging with him as he goes up this way. Okay, that is going to lead us to Tawny. These guys are not particularly skeletons. Are not particularly dexterous, so
right.
They are slow to move.
So the door is barricaded, right?
Yes, the front door is barricaded. Yes.
So I no longer have to worry about that. What about this window next to it?
The window next to it actually was already shuttered. That was one that clearly Aldor had taken care of before he dealt with the door. The ones in here are the ones that Rodwin is working on.
Okay. Then what I'm tempted to do is start heading for the this room.
This room, okay.
This room, yes. Because I had two things in mind. One was to gather up some piece of cordage of some type of probably 20 feet or so. And then, well, no, I'll just do that. Never mind.
Okay.
So I'm going to use my unbelievably amazing speed to head up towards the kitchen. So
okay.
I'm basically right behind, because I'm double moving.
Yep. Okay.
So it would be 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I can get all the way to the door.
Okay.
Wait, did I actually? I didn't double move, did I?
Nope.
No.
You didn't. So you could do that if you want.
Yes, I should have done that. That was
Okay.
my intention. Okay.
All right, so you are now there. That's actually good news for you because this, first of all, because the bad guys go, this one moves forward to attack Inga because she was already having discussions with it, pleasant discussions involving axes. And let's see what it does. Let's see. Is a 13, Inga, going to get the job done against your armor class? Oh, wait for a second. Inga, 13? Will that hit your armor class?
Oops, sorry, I had to step away for a second to
That's okay.
close the blinders for the window because it was shining.
Because you're trying to keep the undead from coming in. I get it.
Right.
Like, it's
Yeah.
not, it's
Yeah.
very...
So,
So,
what is happening?
the skeleton is attacking you. Got a 13?
If that hits, yeah, probably I have 12.
Okay.
Really?
Wait, is that right?
That doesn't sound right.
Sounds pretty low,
Not very
but...
tall, yeah.
Wait a second. How much? Wait.
What kind of armor are you wearing?
Oh god, where does it say again?
It's at the
Balsa
top.
wood.
The armor class is the top, right?
No. What armor I am wearing? Where? Huh? It really helps that doesn't help that I only have one screen available right
Oh, well, listen, I know. I mean, trust me. Anytime I stream on the road, I know. I know the feel.
See, I had another question, but it's a question for Tarry, so I have to wait until she figures out the answer to this one before I pepper her with another
now.
one.
No, seriously, where do I write down what armor I'm wearing?
It should be at the bottom center of the character sheet
Yeah, let me
where it
look.
lists what items you have. You may not have put your armor in there, but it'll automatically adjust your armor class.
Yeah, I see. It does say you have an armor class of 12, but
But it should be that plus your dexterity, no?
Let's ask my book.
right, that would be a 14 if that's what she's got. But that may be counteracted by the weight of the armor. That's why the armor matters.
Okay,
The
great.
Corselet of Mail.
Yes.
So the Corselet of Mail probably is not going to allow for much of a dexterity bonus. You'd need to look to be sure. It's
But
possible.
it would raise your armor class.
Yeah, but I also get like another bonus for armor because of my class and stuff. No, but because of my race, I guess.
I'm willing to believe it.
God. Wait, Corselet of Mail. It should be further in the back. Backgrounds.
Because I would think that would be close to 14 or 15 at least.
Ah, here, armor. Corselet of Mail. That is. 13 plus dex.
So 15. Okay.
Yeah,
At the-
15. Wait. Why is it just marked as 12? That's weird.
I don't know.
Because if you don't have the item in your item section, it doesn't automatically add it to your armor
I
class.
see. Okay, and I also get. Wait, it's a bonus versus poison.
I'm looking right now. Yeah, so... Okay, so the 15 is a miss. All right.
And I get +1 again while I'm wearing armor. There we go.
So
I-
16. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds more logical.
That sounds more like previous fights that we've had.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why it was at 12. I'm sorry.
So
Okay, we can look into it later.
So it swings at you, and you kind of like, you manage to ward it off, and you sort of smile, and then smashing through the window behind it is a second one, and clambers over the first one almost like a spider, and this one goes after Robar. Ooh, 22 to hit. I'm pretty sure is gonna.
No,
get the job done.
he's protected by his incredibly staunch. Yes, that hits.
Dunedain-ness.
Thank you.
That is-
Dunedainity.
That is going to do 8 points of damage as these claws tear into his body. You hear this ripping and tearing, really unpleasant. And so, yeah, there are now 2 of them inside. You can still hear hissing from the outside of the window as if there's more out there. We are using Roll20 for the character sheets. Yes, indeed, Nonimal. Okay, that's going to bring us back up to the top. Inga, you're up, and Robar is going to be on deck.
Now I have a question for
Yes,
Tarry.
shoot.
Your hand axe is like this, right?
No.
No,
Not really. No.
no.
No, I did draw it. It's in the drawing. She's holding it. So
The
It's got-
double one, isn't it?
no, she has like a long axe. That's what it's called. Wait.
But it's got blades on both sides.
No.
Okay, then she would know that
This
the
is
other
really
side is
awkward.
blunt
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, I guess.
because the other side of the axe is blunt. If it's not double bladed,
No, it's not double bladed. Wait, I'm trying to find
then
it.
flip it around and swing away.
Right. And that means that what you'll be doing is you won't gain the bonus of the slashing, but you'll just be doing normal damage, but because it's bludgeoning normal damage, that might help. So anyway. Okay, as you're looking for that, you've got 2 of them, one that you previously injured and the other one.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the injured one.
Okay.
Oh god, an 8.
That unfortunately is not going to get it done. You sort of confronted with the 2 of them. The other one sort of distracts you slightly. You miss the one that you're aiming at, and are not pleased. Are you going to try to stay where you are now? It's kind of crowded quarters here anyway. But are you
Yeah, I'm gonna
staying up close and personal? Okay.
Oh,
Robar.
no, actually, I tell Robar, we are retreating through the door.
Okay.
So that wait, does that even make? Wait, let me look at the map again.
No, I'm the one in the doorway.
Oh, I see. We're all here. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But,
No,
but
I
we
guess
can move
that's-
through each other's spaces just
Yeah,
fine.
you can.
No,
but
no,
it is
what,
kind of funny.
The idea
right?
was to create a choking point at the door, but yeah, no point to that.
Oh, Tani's got a plan for that too.
Okay.
Okay. Robar is up next,
Well, hearing that,
and River is on deck, by the way.
Robar is going to. Oh yeah, right. He's got his kettle. And
Yes.
He's gonna swing away again. And
Clang.
hopefully hit this time.
Okay.
We'll see.
Yeah,
That
but not
was
an
the-
athletics check.
That was the.
You athletically move your kettle into position to attack for real.
That was also Tawny Bear's sheet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Toddy's like, give me that kettle. Like that. That's how it works.
And the reason I made it an athletics check is because he's got the +1 to strength, which would go to his attack.
I see.
right?
I see. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the same thing.
It just
but I will
feels
roll it-
wrong. No, I'm just kidding.
I know, but I will roll it on. Or do you want to just take that as his attack? Because we've got the same score.
Okay. That's fine then.
Aren't we all at disadvantage though for abilities check?
No,
that's-
for ability checks, but that
Not
but
for
this is
combat,
not this
okay.
is not as an abilities
Oh, right,
check
right,
though.
right,
It's being
right,
done
right,
as an attack.
sorry.
But this is why you should never do this again. No, I'm just kidding. That's I'm just joking. But yeah, that's fine. I'll use that as the attack. So that does hit.
I will remember this for later on.
You were swinging, by the way, and actually you were swinging at your. So if you want to get to the injured one, you've got to move around to get there. If you can see where that is. Now you can do that.
I'm aiming at the one that's closest to me,
Okay, that's fine. So go ahead and roll damage on that one.
and that would be what?
I think I said 1d6 plus strength.
1d6 plus 1.
Unless you say something awesome like Earl Grey hot or something like that as you hit him with a tea kettle. I'd like, then I might give you plus awesome style points. I'm joking. I won't. Just roll the.
Oh,
just do the
yeah, because he was going to say, "Let's ladle out some justice."
yeah,
And,
that's very nice.
So 3 points.
Okay. All right.
Originating.
So,
Kettle.
yeah, and it does. So
And he's going to move.
So it does actually seem to do a little bit more damage to them. So you can actually see that that does more damage, but because it was a glancing blow, not that much damage has been done. But definitely you can see that there is some more chipping and harming that is done when you hit him with this kettle. Although again, you have to measure that out. I mean, again, this versus a great axe that does 12 points of damage versus a kettle. Yes, the kettle will do more relative to its score, but that doesn't mean it's still going to be as good as an axe would be. So, God help us in second edition where you really did have to worry about slashing and like, oh god, and arrows were useless. Okay, that leads us to Robert staying where he is, or is he moving?
No, he's moving.
He's moving. Okay, where is he moving to?
Because Angus said move.
Okay.
So
No. I scrapped that because I wasn't aware that you guys had moved up to us. So like, never mind.
Okay.
Okay.
Then if she didn't say that, he's not moving.
Okay. All right.
Because he would invoke an attack of opportunity anyway. So
That's fair. This leads us to River. River, I do want to point out that there is the table that's right next to you. Now, you can try to jump on it or something, but you can't just move next to Inga on the right-hand side. That's a table.
Oh, I thought that was an empty space.
It essentially works like a boulder. So, also provides a little bit of cover, but I mean, like, cover's not really a main issue at the moment, so.
No.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in. One of these things says that all enemies made against all attacks made against servants of the enemy inflict +2 damage. Does that apply in this case?
Yes, actually.
Then it would be 5 points. Not
Okay.
Also, presumably,
+2 damage against undead.
Yeah.
Sorry, again jumping in on you.
In addition to the already servants of the enemy?
I don't know. It's just this is what is written in here or his sheet.
All right, wait a second, and then I'll listen to what Amal was trying to say.
I just wanted to say, like, I'm sure it's moot at this point, but the dark foreboding that River has in the presence of Shadow is presumably like Spidey sensing all over the place at the moment.
Yes, I would say that is true. Yes, there's a lot. Yeah, there's clearly a lot of shadow that you feel around here at the moment, and yeah, that makes sense. It is 2 and 2, so yes. So
7.
yeah. So actually, that did even more damage. All right.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
Please carry on.
Cool. Right. So there's a table. So River is basically going to jump up onto this table in order to attack this one, which is I think the injured one.
Yes. You are. I'm going to ask you to make an acrobatics check, but it will be a very easy one. But it is a disadvantage because of the exhaustion. So.
Oh right. Oh. Oh dear. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. That's still plenty.
Okay.
So you get on there with no problem, and you are on it. It's a little wobbly, but it's okay. And now the creature looks up at you, hissing, and you feel a very, very strong kind of revulsion to it. And actually, now that you're here, I would like you to make a perception check as well, River. Also, put yourself on the table when you get a chance.
Put myself on the what?
On the table when you get a chance. your
Yes,
token.
yes. Sorry. Yeah. Perception. Oops.
So the clothing that both of these creatures are wearing seems tattered and broken, but it's still somewhat visible, the tabards on the front of them. And if you're not mistaken, the tabards on the front look very similar in the symbols to the symbols that you saw waving happily over the town markets and flags here.
Huh. Do we know what the name of this town is again?
Yes. This town was. What did you say? Yes, it's Hakem. This is Hakem. So it looks very much like those flags.
Hakem. All right. Okay. As she notices that, she's
Yeah, it fits.
she I mean, she notices that and it just sort of deepens the horror of everything. And she just sort of says that they're wearing the tabards of Hakem. These are men of Hakem. She says, not slowing her attack though, as horrified as she is. And
you hear wailing from the other room. Actually, how loudly do you say that, River?
I think she's only intending to say it to the people in the room.
Okay, then never mind then.
Okay. But she is gonna attack full bore onto this person in front of her, the skeleton in front of her. Her axes are bladed on only one side. So I think she will be trying to go for the blunt side of them as she does this.
Okay. So be aware what that means is that the way we'll play it is that you won't get the strength bonus on this because you're basically removing the sharp portion of the axe. Right. But the compensation is that you'll get the bludgeoning as opposed to,
I keep forgetting this. Doesn't she do the is it the dex bonus that she's getting on the
right. That's right. I think that's how we said it. Yeah, the dex bonus. But so regardless, the point is then you don't get that. The point is you don't get the additional because you're not using the axe in its normal way. Especially because although you can do it this way, they are not weighted for this. Your normal dex bonus requires them to be weighted on the other end. Otherwise, it kind of screws up your flowing method of combat. So I'll allow it, but not with the dex bonuses.
Thinking it through though, she just used it the normal way and had success with it.
She did
when she did it before.
Yeah, she did.
So never mind. She'll just attack normally then.
Yeah. It's not a big advantage the other way, honestly.
Yeah. So
okay.
Oh dear.
So
well, it's 14 and 8.
The 14 will hit. The 8 will miss.
Okay. 6.
All right, 6 on that guy, which is the one that had already hit. Okay, so more pieces of bone flick off. You can see now that this part of its rib cage is hanging loose. The blue flyer is still there, though, but you've definitely put a serious dent into this thing. And you're going to stay on top of the table, I assume?
Yeah.
Okay. That is going to lead us to Stone. What do you want Stone to do? Is he still hurting, or what?
So I'll leave that so if he has successfully herded, I think that he is going to join the fray unless anything looks like it's coming from here. She would have wanted.
Bones. He's a dog.
Yeah.
It's Bones. It's true. He wanted.
He's gonna try to eat these guys.
Don't eat them. No.
Come to the bones. So, as far as the herding thing is concerned, it depends on whether you want him. If you wanted him to just get up to the floor, then maybe. But just looking at the sort of speed here, he probably would be able to get him, as long as it was just get him on the second floor and then come back down, then probably where he's positioned right now is about where he could get running back down the stairs. So this assumes that he's herded him up and now he's coming back. So, so he's booking, but basically the idea is he's booking towards you. Is that the...
Yeah.
Okay.
He'll go to where Tawny is. He'll go to... I mean, he wants to go back to where River is, but yeah.
Let's put him about there then, because I think that's about how far he can get. Okay. That leads us to Tawny.
What are the door handles like?
They are curving pieces of wood that... kind of simple, wood that kind of curves out. Just a U shape, reverse U, basically.
attached top and bottom.
Yes, smoothed from many years of use.
Okay, so Tawny is the door to the right that leads into the main room where the staircase is.
Right.
He's pulling that closed and tying a rope around the handle,
Okay.
and then turning to everybody else and saying, "Get out of the kitchen."
Okay.
And then his plan is to, as soon as they get out, close the door and tie the other end of the rope to that handle. So if the skeletons try to pull the door open again, they're pulling against both doors and they're tied together. So
Okay. That'll take your whole turn to do all the rope tying, et cetera,
Yep,
but that
I know.
works. Okay. Okay, I dig it. Now it is the bad guys' turn. Well, they'll be able to react to what you said on their turn. That will lead us to the bad guys.
Oh, there is one other thing he wanted to say.
Okay.
And he kind of shouts back to the river saying, "You're dreaming they are men from Hakem. Get out of the kitchen." Right, that's right.
Okay. All right. So the first one is going to swing away at the now higher visible target, which is the river on top of the table, but I think is going to miss with a 10.
Yeah.
The one that is on the ground is going to continue to press its advantage on Robar, but is also going to miss with a 10. You hear and see both River and Inga. You see skeletal hands kind of starting to smash through. You know, there's a hole over here, as I said, and it's starting to be widened in that shutter as they're trying to pull their way through. More from outside. Okay, Inga's up. Robar's on deck.
Okay, since Inga has like the special ability that lets her move like after an enemy's turn, she's just gonna try to stay here until like everybody else left. Yeah, Inga just attacks the next best guy. And is it possible to like aim at specific body parts? Like, does that make a difference?
Possibly, and it will, depending on the body part, could help, but also could cause you to. It's a called shot, so it means it's harder to hit that spot specifically.
Okay. Yeah, okay, like she's gonna try to smash one of those guys' heads in.
Okay. We'll say that you're going to do that then at a -2, but it will do, let's say, an additional 3 points of damage if you hit. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
And you're doing the one next to the table or the one that's attacking the Robar?
The one that's like the most damaged looking.
Okay, that would be the one that was on the river with the table that you hit before.
So you said minus what?
I said -2. That still hits,
11.
though.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. 8.
Wow. All right. So you smash the hell out of it. It is not dead, but well, haha, undead. But it has got more pieces of bones and falling off of it. You can see one arm seems to be not working properly. It looks very damaged.
You said 8?
8. Yes.
Didn't you say we're going to give her a +2 to damage?
Oh yeah, 10.
Oh, you didn't count that? Yeah.
Plus,
Okay.
+3.
Even more damaged, but
right,
still
yeah.
not quite dead.
So like 11 points of damage.
Yep. Yeah, that was quite a smash. Okay, and you're
Inga smash.
Inga smash, and you're staying where you are again.
Yes.
Okay, Robar is up next.
Okay, so he's going to use his action to disengage,
Okay.
and he's going to move out to the hallway.
All right. He does so. Okay. That leads us to the river
Right. Well,
on top of the table.
yes. She's gonna, she's heard Tawny, but Dream still feels pretty real. So she is gonna keep on, she's gonna attack this guy again.
Okay.
But while doing so, I was gonna say, we need to do something about this window too, and as looking down at the table under her feet and
Okay.
hoping that she'll be able to do something with this. So, attacks.
Ooh. Both hits.
Ooh.
And both in the same one, right? The one that was in front of
Yeah.
you? Okay.
Yep. You said I couldn't split this.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
right.
Right.
And then yes.
Okay, so is that 20 damage? Okay.
Wow.
So you
really great.
so it looks like it. Yeah, so you absolutely smash it But when when you hit it, let's see. So you did a total of 20. Let's see if this is even going to matter. So, that's really funny. So what happens is you smash it so hard that it begins to, as it hits the ground, you can see the blue light still burning as it tries to essentially reform, but your follow through with the other axe basically annihilates what's left. So it's like smash, arm up, like you just blow it into a million pieces. Yeah, so it's really, really dead. But you definitely could tell that your first blow, which would have killed any mortal, did not kill this thing. It was trying to come back until you smashed it. But there's now nothing to be left for it to not smash. So, all right, it is destroyed. That one is destroyed anyway.
Her next move,
yes.
what she wants to try and do is if it's like, she wants to try and like shore up this gap somehow. Does it look like that's something that can be done?
Yes, but
the table against it.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, the best option is going to be the table. Now the only problem is that currently there's a ravening skeleton next to both of them in a way. But yes, the table probably would be big enough to at least restrict movement through that window.
All right. So she's gonna try and do that. And trusting that like Inga has got the other guy.
Okay.
And shouts to Tawny. All right, it might be a dream, but we have to do the best we can here. Can you help me with this? And she's gonna try and shove her away.
Okay. All right. Let's move that over there. Okay, great. Thank you for the host, TMC. All right. So you begin to and you got off the table to do this, right? Obviously, so you're. I assume.
I don't think she's quite that dexterous.
I was just gonna make sure.
Not sure how you can. I'm trying to imagine that, but yeah.
Yeah.
There is like this like one German language book, like really old, called Baron von Münchhausen, which like has like one scene where like a guy sits on his horse. They are both stuck in a swamp, and he pulls on his own hair to pull them both out of the swamp.
Is that Baron Munchausen?
Baron Munchausen,
Yeah. Absolutely, Adventures of Baron Munchausen. That's funny.
I did not know you guys would know that.
Oh yeah.
It was
Great movie too.
Film. Yeah.
Movie?
Yeah, with Terry Gilliam was in that.
A whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Okay. The only way I can imagine River like doing this without getting off the table, sort of, is by jumping up into the rafters and using her feet to like tip it over.
Hey, I didn't want to assume. Look, if it's a chandelier moment, like so. Okay. Which side of the table are you going to do this though? Now to push it next to it, obviously you need to get back here, but I'm just asking because it puts you farther away from the skeleton. I just want to know where you were jumping specifically. So
wherever it looks most effective. I mean, if that's the spot, then
if you want to block it with the table, then definitely back here. If you land on here, it's going to be hard because you've got there's actually a couple pots and pans down there. This is probably your best bet, although it does get in the way of Tawny's, get out of the way. But yeah.
Right. Yes. Right. She can't. So is she in the way of the door shutting if she does that?
Possibly. People can move through your space. Right. Well, I mean, no, the door could shut. It's just you might be on the wrong side of it.
Right. That's fair. Yeah. No, she'll go here.
Okay.
To shove the table.
Okay, so go ahead and
try to keep room for Tawny to come if he wants to.
Okay, that's fine. So go ahead and move her down to that spot, and Stone now is up. What would you like Stone to do?
Is he able to get in to fight this guy?
Sure.
But actually, if he can, what would Stone do?
WWSD.
Yeah. Oh, what else? What is going on in the rest of the space, like here and stuff, where everyone vacated? Has everyone gone upstairs, or?
Yeah. Well, a lot of people, because you basically told everyone to clear out.
Yeah.
If now you don't know because you haven't seen it, but if Rodwin is doing what she said, she's finishing up barricading probably in here at this point, right. And then is going to go upstairs as you basically told her to. So. Right. That's the idea.
Okay. I'm just thinking, like, would Stone listen to what Tawny said? Because River hasn't called him in.
Maybe if it doesn't seem like something against.
Hold his action?
Sure, but make it specific for me. What do you want him to hold it for? Like, what to do what?
He will. I think he's just. I mean, from where he is, can he see River, or does he need to get closer?
I would say he can just see River now that you've jumped down in that space. I would say that he can see you.
Okay, I think he's gonna hold his action unless he sees River attacked.
Okay.
And so he'll attack if he sees River attacked.
Got it. Okay, that sounds like a plan. Okay, next up is Tawny. Interesting.
So he's sitting there with this rope in his hand. He throws it down. Throws it down. Sorry, that was almost robarish. You just said something robarish.
Robar could take the rope in hand, it occurs to me.
True.
That's true. Yeah. So he just, as he's dropping the rope, he's like, glances back at Robar's like, get ready to tie these doors shut, and moves in to help River push the table towards the window.
Okay. All right. Well, with the two of you working together, I would say that you're able to get the table up against the window, and none too soon. Basically, as you push it up against it, something, bam, like smashes against. Wow, that was great timing. Thank you for whoever just gave me a sub there. No, thanks, Terry. Thank you for the resub, Terry. So literally, as he's hitting the door, it's like he hits you with a resub, is what he did. That was good stuff. Thank you, Terry, so much. I appreciate it. So he smashes against the window just as the table goes up against it. Tawny, you feel, and you and the River both feel, you're like, huh, like as the thing hits. There's definitely more than a couple out there. Now, it does not feel like a horde exactly, but there's definitely a couple more at least that are outside trying to get in. You also as well hear the sound of, now that you're close to the window, barked orders that are clearly being said in some form of language that you understand. As opposed to these undead creatures, there's also clearly non-undead, because they're speaking and, get them over there, round them up against the square, that kind of thing. So you hear them yelling outside. The yelling seems to have died down outside. You don't know if that's a good or a bad thing, but there's definitely not as much screaming. What's up, the underscore? Yeah, I know, a 10-month streak. I know. Well, Terry's the best. Okay. So let's see. Thank you for the follow, by the way. And this is actually a good spot to say, if you are enjoying what you're seeing, and why wouldn't you be? Welcome to Adventures in Middle Earth. This is our sponsored campaign by Cubicle 7, and you are watching the amazing Trendane and Terry Tunes and Amal Elmatar, who are delivering fisticuffs for you in the middle of this inn, trying to keep skeleton undead warriors from pouring through the inn, because that's just not how you do things. So they're doing that. If you like what you see in here, please follow the channel, support the channel in various ways, and please make sure to check out the YouTube for past broadcasts of this very campaign. All right, so
and when you do, you get the ability to...
Oh, yes, and that's right. And when you do support, you are able to inspire the rest of the players. You're able to do that once per month at the $10 level and twice per month at the $20 level. If you support the Patreon, or if you sub at the $9.99 level, you can get inspiration as well. So
and
welcome.
As today is the 31st.
That's true. This is your last chance.
This is your last day.
Because it resets tomorrow, so yes.
So use your inspirations.
This is a good time to use it. Okay. So good. That was, let's see. So that was Tawny closing it. All right. So now, are you going to just try to, right now it's just leaning up against the thing. There's plenty of other things around, but what do you want to try to use to secure the table in place?
So the skeleton's right in front of another table, right?
Correct.
So we can take that and lean it up against the thing, so
I would say so, yeah. And it's that table's heavy, so you're going to need two people to do it. So that would probably do a pretty good job of wedging it once you deal with the very unfriendly creature in front of it. At the moment,
then I can pull a Fifely and just have Tawny Bear leaning against the table,
right? Exactly.
While everybody else fights.
Well, it was funny when you were standing by the inn door, and I'm like, does this remind you of something? The entire last fight, yes, Fifely, Trent's last character, was basically trying to hold two dragons who were trying to bash their way into this sanctuary, and literally they broke through right at the end as the thing was coming to an end. He was just like, well, yeah. But you were an Earth Elemental, in fairness, it was a little different at the time. Okay. The bad guys go. So this one is going to swing away at Inga because Robar is no longer a present target for it. Let's see. Ugh, 8. These rolls are terrible. I guess they're not happy at
undead.
Undead. They're like didn't show up. All right. Inga is up next, and then Robar. What'd you like to do? You've got the skeleton on you.
Hit that guy in the face. Oh well, wherever. Like apparently, evidently, hitting it in the head didn't do any extra damage.
No, it did. We gave you an extra couple damage.
Yeah, no, then I'm gonna attempt to do that again.
Yep, gave you a +3, I believe. The_, this is roll 20, and it is neat. Nonival, the inspirations work by if you have an inspiration. The way to do an inspiration check is you go like this. You can always type in !inspiration _have, and that'll tell you if you have it. I don't know if you do nonstop because you, as the person who is always very careful to use your inspirations, all throughout the month, I'm not even joking, I think you've used yours up for this month. But Nonival, you get inspirations immediately upon supporting the Patreon or the subbing at that level that I mentioned. You get one of them to use, or two, however many you support it at, immediately. So that 12 is going to hit.
No.
21. Oh, good God. Well, that's definitely going to hit.
I guess 19, and I do 15 damage.
Yeah. So you absolutely, you don't destroy it, but you just smash into the middle of its rib cage. You think that its pelvis is where its clavicle used to be. This is a bad situation. It is not destroyed, but it looks very, very hurt. Sort of staggered back. It's not stunned, but if it had been a human, it would currently be on the ground stunned.
And you didn't quite answer the question of how you use the inspiration.
Oh, when you actually use it, I'm sorry. When you actually use it, you type in !inspire space and then the character that you would like to inspire. So Tiny Bear if you want to inspire Tren, Inga if you want to inspire Tarry, and the River if you want to inspire Amal.
Yes.
Okay, so that leads us to the bad guy who has currently just been smashed. He's going to try to smash back.
Wait, don't I get a go?
He does not do that. Yeah. No, I was looking at another. I was doing another check for him to see whether he recovered. Anyway, he did not. Okay, Robar is up next, and then the River.
So.
Oh, I'm sorry. Assuming Inga stays where she is, you're going to continue to stay there, right? Okay. So Robar, you're up.
So Robar has moved up and picked up the rope. It's like, what am I supposed to do with this? And kind of looks in and sees the situation. Is like, looks back at Stone. And did he tell you what was supposed to be done with this? And checks the room on the. Yeah, exactly. If dogs could shrug. That sounds like a title of a book. If dogs could shrug.
Stone's refreshing the Kickstarter for Doggies and Dungeons. Doesn't even notice. What is this at? What's up, Zach?
Exactly right.
How you doing, Zach?
Yeah, he's just completely flummoxed with what is the rope for? You guys are barricading the window. What's the rope for? So he's like, do what with this? And that's basically his thing. But he's keeping an eye in the room on the. You
can call back to that, Tani, if you want. You could definitely say pull it or do whatever, whatever you want to say. You could say that.
You can't do what Tawny plans to do.
All right, so
out of the kitchen.
So he's just standing there. I got it. I got you. Okay, that is going to bring us up then to. Is he going to try to hold his action for when you depart, if you ever do? Is there any of that or no? Or is he just standing there?
Actually, he will.
All right.
He will hold his action so that if and when we move out of the kitchen and pull the door shut, he will then tie the two handles together so that it's the two doors can't be opened from either side.
Right. Okay, that sounds good. Hey, what's up, Andrew Dan? And that's cool, Zach. Nonival, no, you don't get to control that character's action. Inspiration means that they have an advantage on an ability check or a saving throw or an attack roll of their choice. They don't get to get more than one at a time, but an inspiration basically lets them roll at advantage, which is a very strong mechanic. So it's a benefit to the players. And once they use it, it's gone, and they have to be inspired again. Okay, so that was Robar. That leads us to the River, and Stone is on deck.
Right. So she is. So if I understand, she needs to actually. This skeleton is more or less smashed, and what they want is to finish barricading this window, right?
Right. Although the skeleton continues to be a problem until it's totally gone. When it's gone, then, yeah.
Great. So she's gonna attack the skeleton first, and then continue to wedge.
Okay. You want to move like into
So
position?
she would have moved when
Yeah.
we moved the table. So
Oh,
Yeah.
that's true. So like here or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. So then go ahead and smash away. It's Lord of the Rings system it's the Adventures of Middle Earth, so it's actually based on 5th edition rules, but there's a lot of different mechanics within it, Zach. But it is based on 5e. Okay, both are hits. Okay, so I'm gonna have to do the same little mental calculation here. Let's see.
I'm not sure. Why did it say?
didn't
plus
give you your
3?
pluses.
Yeah. Why did it do that before, but not now?
I don't know.
It's so weird. Why does it say the +2?
So it should have been plus 2 and plus 2.
I guess it says I rolled. I mean, when I look at the scroll over of the previous one, it says rolling 1d6 crit equals 2, and then the other one rolling 1d6 crit equals.
So it just didn't show it, but it actually did.
Okay.
I think it did calculate it, I believe, is what that means.
But that was the previous one. This one
Oh.
says rolling 1d6 plus 3, which is dex, equals 5 plus 3. Okay.
That also could have been 2 because because you didn't use the blunt this time. You were using, because we didn't let you use the dex bonus that one time. So maybe that has something to do with it.
No, because we changed. Remember, I decided not to do that. And it was just...
Yeah, you were just doing the regular. Then I don't know.
Okay. I literally changed nothing. I just rolled and then did like hand axe damage.
That's odd. It turns out it won't matter in this case because it, again, similar situation to what happened before. You smash it. You can see that it's trying to kind of stagger back up. But your second, both times when you've done this, it's been useful because the second attack actually smashes it again. And it is smashed into pieces. So at the moment, you hear nothing like from inside the inn anyway, except the possible sort of wailing from upstairs with a voice that might sound like Geb's maybe. But other than that, you don't hear anything else. Okay, so now you're able to, now we're still in initiative here. So you are now going to turn around and try to continue to wedge it. Is Stone going to help with that?
I don't know if Stone can. Can he?
Yeah, I would say so. I think you could probably, at the bottom.
Yeah,
So,
okay.
All right, so you're able to move that back into way, sort of lean it up. It's a very heavy table. And you do that, and you hear sort of heavy thunks coming from the outside, and what sounds like cruel words outside. It now sounds like someone is ordering something. You can't really hear exactly what it is now, but something is ordering something as these thunks continue. Seems more coordinated, let us say. Okay, Tani is up. Tani, what would you like to do?
Hang on. Sorry, I felt the sneeze coming on. So we've got the table in place now.
Yes.
Barricade is there.
Yes.
All right. Okay, so Tani's gonna be like, everybody get out of the kitchen so we can secure this door. And
Okay.
he's move out here.
Okay. All right.
Then we go upstairs and we put a bunch of furniture in this stairwell.
Okay. Let's see.
That's what he says.
All right. Inga, you're up next then. You heard what he said?
Yeah, Inga is just like gonna run out.
Okay.
Yum. Oh, like right next to like the next best table and like get in position to like move it.
Okay.
Oh, well, I think we're
Those
like,
were done.
Those were done. Yeah.
Go upstairs directly.
Yeah, these
Going
windows have already been
upstairs,
barricaded by Rodwin.
Barracuda.
Barracuda.
That'd be great.
Ooh, Barracuda. Dun, 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 dun.
Wait, let's see. She can run how
That's your
far? 25. So she was
So
here.
5, 10, 15, 20, 30. That's about right. You can probably get another 5 feet or so up. Or 10 feet, maybe 2 squares.
Okay, then she's on the stairs, I guess.
Let's see if I can remember how to do this.
Like there,
Ah, help. Wrong thing.
I would say.
Yeah?
Yep, that looks good. Okay, that leads us to Robar.
Trying to remember how to do this. Never mind.
Oh, while running through the hallway, did Inga like perchance get a glimpse at like the front door?
Yeah, the front door still seems to be holding fairly securely. There's nothing slamming against the front door at the moment.
Okay, like, or was there like anybody still in her line of sight where she could have been like, yeah, maybe there's like somebody still.
No, there doesn't seem to be anything moving inside the inn. Although, actually, now that you think of it, as you're sort of looking at the front door, you notice that there's kind of a eerie silence outside now. There's no slamming against the doors. There's no hissing. Everything seems to have died down.
Don't phrase it like that.
Everything seems to have died down.
I see.
So, Robar.
He hands the rope back to Tawny because and he starts heading back towards the stairwell.
25, 35, 40. You could probably get farther than that. I would imagine you could get close to up this ledge here, like around here or so.
Okay.
If you wished.
Yep.
Okay. That leads us to the river.
Yeah, River's going to head up the stairs as well, but as she's going, say to Tawny, if they're not going to get in, they might try to burn it down. We need to be getting people outside of here as quickly as we can once we get upstairs. And gonna go. How do you do that measury thing?
You have to click on the ruler icon in the upper left corner.
Cool. So she's got 30 feet. So it's like probably she'll get to the bottom of the stairs.
10, 15, 20, 30. There we go. Yes, that's about right.
And Stone, she's gonna send Stone bounding ahead of her. And he's got 40 feet, so he'll get upstairs faster.
Okay.
So,
All right. So go ahead and move both of them in their respective spots.
Yeah.
I like the image, by the way, of her like sitting there with a ruler, like measuring how far she can go, like in real life. Okay. Then you click on
the arrow.
Yep. Okay. So you go there. Stone goes ahead of you somewhere on the stairs. I think a few squares more. And that leads to. Yeah, because you got to go over and up. I would guess probably about here is about right. And then Tawny.
Okay, so these two doors which open in opposite directions, he pulls them both closed and ties the door handles together.
All right.
So that if anybody tries to pull on them from the other side, they're pulling against not only the rope but the other door as well, keeping it shut too. And
so
once that's done,
he stares down at the web in front of him, completely blocking the hallway in front. Just joking. Damn it!
move to the other side.
I see. As you do this, you notice that Inga is putting on helmet over helmet over helmet on top of her head.
Yep.
To make this happen.
Now she's got an 85 armor class.
Yeah, exactly. That's called stack AC. So.
I have another hat somewhere. Wait.
Oh man. Okay. So and then Tawny is there. Okay. Robar, I would like you to make a perception check for me. If you could make one for Robar, please, Tawny.
Is this a disadvantage because of the?
Yep, sure is.
Okay. It was almost a 1.
Yeah, I really love the dice effect of like, oh no, oh god, just seeing them actually jostle against each other like
13.
Yep, it's amazing. Like normally you'd be actually bumping the table.
Yeah.
Okay. You think you hear the sound of. Okay, see you, Echo. You think you hear the sound. Robar hears the sound of faint crackling.
No.
Like
fire crackling?
Yeah, it's like fire crackling.
It certainly might be
the
in that
most
ballpark.
obvious thing for when people have barricaded themselves inside a building. But yes.
Okay.
Coming from
Why do
upstairs?
human
Coming from
buildings
upstairs.
need to be built from wood? You fool!
This is your fault. Yeah. It's yes, coming from upstairs. Clearly not right on the second floor, but maybe above it. And of course you can't. Everything is barricaded except for the windows on the second floor, where you can actually see through.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Count floors different in German. Like that would be the first floor. And
Yeah, it's the same in the UK.
Oh. Yeah.
I was like, wait a second. Is there another floor? The map isn't big enough.
Yeah, the upper floor, basically, I guess, would be the way to look at it.
Yes.
Okay, so, and I believe last one to go was Tawny, so that's them. All right, Inga, you're up first. So you haven't heard
Inga...
this crackling yet, only Robar has.
Okay, yeah, Inga is like gonna like run upstairs. I guess that's like wait. It's like. God, this is really confusing. So like first of all, she's gotta like be here.
Right, I was just gonna say.
All right,
Yep.
the upstairs. Oh yeah.
The upstairs. Yep.
Upstairs.
The other
Ooh,
side of
so,
the map.
what does she see up here? Like any people here or something?
So she does not. You don't see anything up here at the moment. There are not any windows in this room. There's just the one thing that leads out here. But now that you're up here, you can also hear this faint crackling sound, which seems to be coming from above you. So,
Above.
yeah.
Okay, so this is a balcony here, right?
Well, still inside. Oh, you mean out there? No, that's actually more wall. It's just sort of a subdivision. It's like a little little walls in between here, so you could put other chairs and stuff. But no, that's not actually a balcony.
Like differently. Yeah, okay. So there are no windows in this room, though, right?
Correct.
Okay. Yeah, then like she's gonna keep running. Oopsie daisy.
Okay.
Gonna keep running here. Like I don't know how far she can go. That's like the problem, right?
Let's see.
Like
feet
she
for the
was,
double movement.
no, she was
25.
here.
Yeah, if you're double moving, then 5, 10, 15, 20. That's about where you can get, would be if you're double moving, so you're just booking it.
Okay.
Now when you're up, so you're now all the way up here, and you've got the window. Now this is the window, the big wide window out which you saw the stuff that I described previously. And so you actually think you see just maybe the faintest wisps of smoke slightly curling in through the still open window here.
Oh dear. Okay, so Inge's gonna like shout down. Like I'm assuming this is like a railing thing here, not a wall.
That is correct. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
she's like gonna shout down to the others. There's fire! Fire!
Okay. And Robar is up next. I'm sure Robar is like, great.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
So he's like, he would probably say something, what was that with that crackling sound? What? And then haul ass up the stairs.
Okay.
Probably right about there, I would imagine.
Yep, seems about right. The crackling, as I mentioned, is much more audible up here, and of course, you also see the sort of faint wisps of smoke. You also hear very faintly some shouting from outside, but it seems to be directed at the end, which is, "People inside! People inside! I want to speak to you."
Really?
Now, the only ones who hear that are the ones on the second floor because they're nearest the window. The ones on the stairs don't hear that. But Inge and Robar do.
So, on which side would the stables be?
The stables are, let me calculate in my mind. I think the stables are on, because that's the front. I think the stables are here, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Okay. So that leads us to the river.
River is booking it upstairs.
Okay.
As is Stone. So what does her move get her?
Okay, let's see. So
13.
about here, I would say, is about 60. If you're just going to get double move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh crap! There would have been another window here. I did not see that.
True.
Oh, there's a window on the side?
But it's barricaded though. I mean, it's
Oh,
closed.
right.
So
Right.
now you
Okay.
could have opened it, but
No, it's about like climbing on the roof. That was.
Oh no! And remember, that was all. In any case, that's like basically not even. That's like midway between the lower and the upper floor, anyway.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. There's another window here though, right?
Yeah. Here's one.
yes, that one might be closed though. This one is the one that was open that you were looking through before, and this is also the biggest window. You also now, River, that you're up here, hear this crackling sound as well.
Yeah. Well, they shouted that there's fire, so I think we're all on the same page about that. But did she hear the talking-y part?
No,
Okay.
because that was said before she booked.
All right. Well, what she's gonna say as she arrives is, we need to get up we need to get up onto the roof.
Yes.
Where's everyone else? Where are Haleth and Rodwin?
I have no idea. We should like.
I've not seen them yet.
Somebody should stall the guy outside who wants to talk to us.
guy outside.
Somebody was like shouting at the window we were. That
Okay.
they wanted to talk to us. Like I'm assuming like they are gonna start threatening to burn the house down. But like if we can get somebody to like talk to them and stall them.
I'll do that. I can do that.
Yeah, like Inga looks like very purposefully at River.
Yeah.
Who's good at talking here? Send word on it, basically.
Right. Well, she's used her move for this turn. She needs to presumably get to the window, but
Yeah.
she will be on that.
And just like, yeah. In the meantime, like the rest of
Yeah.
us can like scan out and see where the others are and look for an escape route.
Okay.
Okay. All right. And Stone is, you want him
Stone
with you?
will, yeah, he'll have just come up as well.
Okay.
He's got more move, mind you. He might like roam around.
Yeah, it's up to you.
Where the others are. I think he'll look around to see where Haleth is because he has contact with him. So if he's up here, he will sniff around for him, I think.
Okay. All right. Definitely. And as you sniffing, you can tell that like he's still like he's snorting out as if he's got like too much of a, he
Smoke.
smells the smoke. Perhaps might be sort of related to that.
Right.
Okay, Tani, you're up.
I was trying to find that accursed waypoints feature again.
Oh yeah, jeez.
What's a waypoint
Point
feature?
Where
thing
you saw the ruler.
Yeah.
There's a way where you can draw the ruler to this point, then to this point, then to this point, and it calculates the entire length of that thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
But I can never remember how to use
I
it.
can't either.
Uh,
Sod would know.
Yeah, of course he would, because
Sod's the roll 20 expert.
yeah. So Tawny's no, I need the arrow. Thing, and Tawny's gonna move up to about here. I think it's about where he can get to.
Okay.
Where he
At which
was
point you also hear the crackling now. Besides, you already heard the fire thing. But
there. Yeah, well, he probably would have heard Inga, calling down.
Yep.
We've got
No, I know.
fire. Yeah. To which he will say, "Dream fire," and running up the stairs.
Okay. All right. So again, you hear, and this time all of you hear, people inside the inn. I won't ask again. I want to speak to you. Either that or you can burn up inside.
That really doesn't sound like much of a ask
No,
to
it
me.
doesn't. Can I move River then? Are
Sure.
we still in initiative?
I would say at this point we'll take you out of initiative for the moment.
Then question first. Wait. Goddamn, I have the wrong thing selected. This window here, like, can they look through it? Is this like?
It's closed. If you want to open it and
Oh, it's not a glass window. That's what I want to know.
Oh, yes, it is a glass window. Normal. I mean, yes, it just happens to be shuttered at the moment.
Yeah, that's what okay, so like if we walk past, they wouldn't be able to see us.
No.
through it.
No,
Okay.
all the windows. Rodwin seems to have done her job pretty well. In that she's by most of them, except for this window, which is left open. You're not really sure why. There are two shutters, but it'll be hard. This window's wide enough that it'd be hard to really kind of shut it down anyway, unless you dragged a table from over, and like it'll be not easy. So, as River, you look outside, you see a rather horrifying sight. There are many people that have been gathered up basically in the market. They are surrounded by a group of these men wearing red armor that I made reference to before. And standing near those men are a few of the skeletal warriors kind of swaying back and forth, maybe about 6 of those, if you had to guess, all wearing the same kind of outfits. There are also many, many bodies. Many people were killed here, and you can see their bodies kind of lying on the ground. Your nose kind of wrinkles in disgust from the smell of flesh and burning flesh. As well as some of the bodies there. And you also, the acrid smell of the smoke kind of curling down from the roof above you also stings your nose and bothers your eyes as you're looking through. And you can see down below that this man wearing gold, this torque of gold and the well-made armor, looks up at you and says, "You! Are you in charge of whoever rabble you've got inside that inn?"
River is going to stand there and look down and and actually give her lineage as she says, yes, I am Avina, daughter of Andua, and I speak for everyone within. Who are you?
And he says, I am the alderman of this town, and what is more, I am the servant of him. I am telling all of you that your inn will burn down to the ground within a matter of minutes. I will allow you to leave the inn, where you will be taken into custody by my men. If you don't, you and the rest of the people in that inn will burn to a crisp, and as you can see, we've had quite a bit of burning already. You can see that this man at some point must have had a handsome features. You know, he had sort of this silver gray beard, cropped short, and sort of these strong features. But they look as if they have been, in some ways, squeezed somehow, as if something has pulled the life out of them, drained the life out of them. You can see his expression now is sallow. He's also, his face and hands are dirty, sort of belying the beautiful stuff that he's actually wearing. And as he kind of points up at you, his voice is cold, and there is a pale blue light in his eyes. And he sort of points at you and them and says, I won't ask a second time. That inn will burn as surely as you will. If you, and he starts naming names, daughter of whoever you said you were, want to save the rest of them in there, then bring them out now, or die in the smoke and flame.
Can I get a read on why he is giving this choice, considering that, like, like they clearly have the advantage here?
Sure, make an insight check. But one thing that looks like, one thing you can tell for sure as you're getting ready to roll is that there looks like a lot of the people that are gathered in one area of the town already look as if they've been shackled. In fact, it looks as if there's like the men in armor, who are clearly men, not undead, are attaching like what looks like iron shackles to their hands and to their legs, which suggests to you that they didn't mean to just destroy the town, they mean to take its people.
Insight people, right. Okay, I will make this insight check. Oh God.
You're like, he's mysterious and works in strange and mysterious ways. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Right. Well, she's going to look out and say, it's going to take us some time to get out, considering we had to barricade everyone against your strange and unwelcome friends. Who are you, and why have you done this?
He says, do you wish to have a discussion of my name now, or before you all burn up? As for the doors and the windows, I think you'll find that my men have resolved one of those problems for you. And as you hear this, Tawny Bear hears this push as something smashes through the front door of the inn.
While she is stalling, do we get to search the place if like people are there?
Sure, you can look around if you want while she's talking.
Okay.
You do find in this back room, here we go, over here, you basically see a few of the people, basically all the ones that you already know about. Haleth and Geb and Rodwin are there along with Aldor. They look to be just, most of them are obviously very frightened, except for Rodwin, who looks somewhat stoic about the whole business. Haleth is terrified. Geb is sort of a gibbering mess, but that's sort of what you find. And they're all sort of huddled together. You don't actually see anyone else in the rooms except the ones that I just mentioned.
Okay, so Inge is gonna check this window here.
That sounds good. Hey, Maggie, I want to quickly say, Margaret Crone is in chat and does a ton of D&D stuff like that, and I actually was lurking in your Space Vikings thing the other day, and I was really impressed, Maggie. I thought it was a really cool game that you were playing, and obviously she does a lot of D&D stuff on Twitch. So anyway, I wanted to say hi because I noted that, and so yeah. Okay, where were we? I'm sorry.
Inga's gonna check this window. Is it open? Like, can she look out?
You can open it. It was closed, but you can open it if you like.
Okay.
In
She,
front.
like,
Yeah. Oh, sure. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Can she take a peek out of it, like, to see what's, like, before she, like, opens it wide and, like, reveals that she's inside?
Okay,
Just, like,
sure. You can take a little peek.
Yeah.
Two things you notice. Number one, oh, my pleasure, my pleasure. I really, as I say, I appreciate it. I thought it was cool. As you open the little door, the sort of just kind of just to look outside. First of all, the smell out here of the smoke is this much stronger. You're still on the second floor, so when the window was open back there, they might have, if you had to guess, they probably fired arrows lit with flame up into the the straw of the roof here.
it's
But
already
also.
on fire.
It's on fire right now. Like it's getting louder. Down below though, you can actually see there's a group of 4 of these red armored men on each side of this huge, what looks like essentially it's a battering ram, but it's a small one designed for clearly this purpose that they are using to bash into it. And as you look around the square quickly, you can see that other houses have had their doors bashed in too. This suggests to you that this was part of the plan to begin with. They obviously came in here to try to get in and get these people out of these homes.
Okay, so, but there are only, like, 4 enemies inside, right?
No, I would say 4 on each side. There's 4 on each side of the thing. So there's 8 enemies that you can see right below you. But since they've already smashed through, they're currently just lowering into the ground, and it looks like they're getting ready to come in to the inn.
I mean, I keep going, oh, well, the others could stay and hide while we, like, give ourselves up, but the place is still on fire.
No,
So,
I have a better
yeah.
idea. We wait until, like, the guys downstairs get in, then we lower ourselves down through the window and shut them in.
Yeah, but wait, shut them in downstairs?
Yeah.
So we'd be lowering ourselves out of the window on the second floor?
Yeah.
But in full view of the people with
That's the problem.
Flaming arrows?
Oh, wait.
There's all around the inn.
Like, literally, there's
where
no
you
snow.
are, there's 8.
Yeah.
Where you are, Inga, but in the back, there's a bunch
Yeah, that's
more.
what I asked, if there are only
Yeah.
4 people, because it says
In
No,
your
there's
sight,
probably-
because
in
you
your
asked me in
sight.
your sight. Yeah.
But, like, there's clearly, like, the inn is, I really don't see any way except,
Oh, you found it.
surrendering.
I found it.
Oh, hooray! Well done. How did you do it?
Okay, what about this window?
It doesn't involve the ruler at all. It's just the arrow to move your thing. You just click the space bar while you're moving your token.
Ah, very cool.
Sorry.
Right, what about
Not
this
working for
window?
me. I'm looking out this window. What can I see?
If you look out that window, you see again what actually looks like about 3 or 4 more of these red armored men who are just staring at the inn, like basically like scanning it. If you had to guess, it looks like they've got men all around this.
Literally, the only way I can imagine us escaping is if there's a secret tunnel under the inn.
Yeah.
Which presumably Aldor would have mentioned if that was the case.
You're also starting to cough, River, because of the smoke,
Yeah.
which is getting very bad now.
Yeah. River is going to answer, like, not glance back actually, and just and look forward at this guy and just say, where I'm from, it's customary to know to whom we surrender. Give us your name and we'll come out.
And he says, where you come from, you'll understand when you're outmatched, and there's no way to win. But that said, I am the alderman of this town, and the servant of him. As his servant, I speak in his name. Every time he says his, you get the impression he's like capitalizing the H,
Yeah,
right? And I speak in his name. If you wish to survive, you will not challenge him. He pauses for just a second, and then he says, he cannot be defeated.
River looks back to everyone else and tries to kind of just gauge what the situation is quickly. So she can see the others, or
Yeah, because they at this point have come out this way, and you can see Haleth is kind of like hands clutched together like this, like really shaky. You can tell he's trying to hold it together. Geb is just kind of like practically senseless. Like he kind of is just not even speaking at this point.
River hasn't made a persuasion check yet, and I want her to, but I just don't know what I mean, because the place is on fire. They do need to get out.
Yep. Yeah, you're running out of time.
Yeah. All right. What is everyone else doing at this point?
Inga is just scanning the place while you're talking.
Tawny, can you make eye contact with River?
Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of looking around Robar to do it, but yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Inga is gonna run back to over here and check if like this window, if anybody's out there.
Same group of guys, and in fact even more of them.
Oh shit. Yeah, I guess we are screwed.
Yeah, I feel like there's really only the one.
The guys, like basically she's like gonna go up to the wall here and like whisper to River and like, we are surrounded. There's no way we can escape from here.
Well, River's just going to look to the others and say, I really hope we wake up soon. And turns back to the alderman and says, very well, we're coming down.
He says, he makes kind of a cruel smile, and he looks at you and says, good. I'm glad you've seen sense and reason. When you get down to that door, you will lay your weapons down as you exit. My men will not harm you so long as you do not attack them. After that, we shall see what the price of resistance is. And he smiles and nods and does almost like a little bit of a mock bow, maybe, and turns away. So, fast forward about a half hour, and all of you are...
Wait, before she, like, when
Yes.
they go, like, gonna lay down their weapons, Inga's gonna see if, like, goes through the kitchen and see if she can find, like, a kitchen knife she can, like, hide under, like, a cloak or something.
There are a couple of kitchen knives that you can find. They're not in very good shape, but like
anything that can be used as a weapon.
they're pretty dull. But you can, certainly you can try. You can
Those
try
are the
something
most
like that.
dangerous ones.
Is that one?
Yeah,
Yes.
the rusty. It gets some tetanus happening into this. I'm sure they don't know how to deal with that.
Can I find a spoon, maybe? Cut out this guy's heart.
Slowly.
Guys!
Okay. So you have you find yourselves chained together with the others, with Aldor, with Geb, with Haleth, and the elf Rodwin. And you are brought along with probably 500 or so of Hakom's survivors. From what Aldor tells you, there were 1,000 there. Fully half the town was slaughtered on this day. And as you are brought chained together, Lillimon and Stone are being brought along with you. Lillimon is being kept close watch by the Easterling who is with him, because you can tell now that that's clearly what these are. These are men from the East. Their red armor indicates it, and their strange accented language also seems to fit that as well. They do not, however, have the blue fire or whatever in their eyes, but they are hard, cruel men who drive on their captives. There are, of course, women and children and some of the elderly brought here as well, although you notice not many. You wonder if possibly what happened is that some of those were targeted for removal before being brought down. But you are essentially marched for hours at first, and then longer. Those slaves who cannot keep up, those who fall behind, are whipped, and those who fall, and there are many, are left to die where they lie. As you continue on this grim march, in this nightmare that you have lived in, possibly literally, hours passed, and then it seems like days of the same dragged out day after day. Each of you take another level of exhaustion as this is going on. It is relentless. Before you know it, you have passed the Gladden Fields, and you are being driven south towards a place of darkness that both Robar knows very well from his work previously, and the river knows very well from the experience that she's had of dealing with creatures like this before, and that is, you are clearly being driven towards Dol Guldur. The dark fortress sort of looms in your consciousness, even if not in your sight, as you are brought along. As the slave caravan passes the narrows of the forest, the Easterlings are met one day by a column of orcs. And the Easterlings sort of speak to them. There's kind of rough back and forth, a little sort of pushing and shoving, but very clearly this is an intended meeting, despite all of that. And the men look at you and then march east into the forest, where you now are taken over by the orcs. The Easterlings were cruel, but they were human. The orcs are not. And so their treatment, if possible, is even worse, and even more die along the way. Aldor seems in particular to be suffering terribly. He has a horrible fever, a racking cough. Geb has not spoken for days, even when he tried to make jokes earlier on to lighten things up. Hallis' eyes are sunken into his face. He sort of stares as he stumbles on mile after weary mile after weary mile. Only Rodwin seems to bear her burden somewhat stoically. She is clearly also tired and also horrified, but her expression remains more sad than despondent or despairing. And there are moments when all of you catch a glimpse of her and are reminded just briefly of the face of Irame. Clearly, this can't possibly be true, but there are moments where there's an echo in your mind of this. Eventually, you are driven into a dark tunnel that runs underneath the forest, and you are brought down to this great iron gate. The gate rises, and then you are brought forward to the great gate, and as it crashes behind you, and you vanish into darkness. Okay, I need to take a look and see. River, what's your wisdom? And also, if everyone could look at their wisdom and let me know.
Not high.
14.
14? Okay. Yours is not high, Inga.
11.
11. Tani?
18.
Okay. Robar is
16.
What? 16, okay. As you are sort of moving into, as you hear the gate smash, Tani, there is a moment where, as you feel sort of this, the despair consuming you, there is a moment, just a moment, where you feel yourself, if you've ever had the experience of waking but not quite from a dream, it almost feels a little bit like you're surfacing above the water. And Tani, you were reminded of that moment when you first broke the surface of the water back in the marsh, when you had finally, broken out of that being entrapped. You have a moment where you wake, and you see Irame. Irame is against the hill. It is still nighttime, and you see Irame seems to be with her hands fending off something. There's light shining from her hands, and it is essentially fighting back and forth with this deeply shadowy creature that swirls around her and hisses and speaks in words of evil to her. You don't understand what they are, but it's as if she's striving with it, contending with it. And for a moment, there is a pause in the conflict, and Irame looks over her shoulder as if she's looking at you, and she says in your dream, "A spirit of despair. It has entrapped us all in sorcery. It will consume us if we cannot defeat it." And then you are awoken again. You are all thrown into a lightless, noisome pit. Your weapons and gear have been taken from you, and as far as you can guess, you must be deep beneath Dol Guldur, the dreaded fortress of the necromancer. The cell is cold and partially flooded with foul water that stings the skin. You each take another level of exhaustion from the experience. There is a single door locked from the far side, and it is opened only when the orc guards throw in a few lumps of moldy bread or some bowls of gray gruel. In the distance, you can hear screams and the sounds of lamentation. At times, from far below, you hear noises as if of some tremendous machinery. At other times, you feel this unreasoning, unrelenting terror, a feeling of fear so overwhelming that they can do nothing but cower. And indeed, Haleth has for days, it seems, been rocking back and forth, just holding his knees and kind of staring into the darkness. The air is tainted. It is choked with smoke or with caustic fumes. You now face not swords and weapons and armor, but sickness and fear and suffering. So I'm going to need to ask you, and I haven't had to do this in a while, but I'm going to need to ask you to make a check against corruption, because you are now facing a great threat to your ability to maintain hope. So, give me just a second, because it's been a while since we've done one of these, as I said. And by the way, in case anyone's curious, this is one of the differences between this quality of corruption. So, 180 is what I need. Blah, blah, blah. Right. Shout out. And, yes, right. Sources of corruption. Okay. I need you all to make a wisdom saving throw, please.
So do we like get any penalties on that with like the exhaustion level or something?
You will get disadvantage on the ability on actually that's a good question. Wait a second, that's a good question. Because saving throws is not the same thing as ability checks, so let me see, I don't remember. Let me see.
Oof, 11.
Yeah, disadvantage on saving throws. Yep. For those of you who have 3 levels. So I don't think that'll affect Tani, actually. But I think it will affect the River and Inga, I believe.
Yeah, then
and
that's
Ravar.
an 8.
Okay. So you got an 8. Anybody else?
I got a 9.
9. Okay, and everybody else is the way they are. All right. Is that both of those for Ravar? Okay.
Well, 9 was the disadvantage.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So the as you experience this feeling of corruption, okay. So you gain a shadow point, Inga. And the basic idea of the shadow point is you take every time you take a shadow point, when your shadow point total exceeds your wisdom score, you are made miserable, which means that your spirit is weakened by too much grief and sorrow and dark experiences. So right now you've just got the 1, but you know this is the kind of thing, and you feel the sort of darkness weighing down upon you, which leads me to the question: what are all of you going to try to do to endure this endless darkness? You have the prisoners, of course, that are around you. Aldor, who continues to cough. Haleth, Rodwin, stoic as ever. And Geb, who has not sung or even spoken in days. What will you do in this darkness?
What Tawny's going to do,
Okay.
he's going to even more fervently insist that this is a dream, because he's been in this sort of situation before, and he just woke up briefly, so he knows this isn't quite real and that it can be beaten, and so he's going to try to push that factor to everybody else.
Okay.
River is going to trust that Tanya is saying and try to. She's going to sing a lot, and if she's stopped from singing because of not wanting to get it past to other guards and things like that,
They don't seem to be paying attention.
oh, then she will sing a lot and she will tell stories, and she will repeat what Tanya says in her stories and her songs, and try to choose the songs that are appropriate to that. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got performance, yes?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Make a performance check for me, please.
She's also got like, I can imagine her wanting to persuade people of what Tawny is saying as well, but mostly just keep spirits up. She's going to.
Okay. Yeah, because at the moment it's not like anyone's saying, blow it out your ear. Like they're just not talking. So
Well, what about this? Since Tawny is trying to persuade people, and it's effectively working with the river, we're going to give her advantage on the performance check.
it's not going to help with her advantage. It is going to help her with the next corruption check, though,
Okay.
which I am calculating secretly.
Okay. So performance. I don't suppose anyone. I don't know if this is appropriate for inspiration or not.
Would anyone like to inspire these people that are lost in darkness?
Because you lose nothing by doing this. You're going
Yeah.
to regain your inspiration points tomorrow anyway.
Yeah, if anybody has inspiration actually that's in chat that's left, because I don't know, or if anyone else is like, hey, I'd like to know how do you do that? Let's see.
It's the last day of the month. This is the time to use it.
Yeah. So let's see. The people that we've got in chat right now. Yeah. Right now, the only person, and I don't know if he's here, is Dragonspear. Everybody else is away because it's my nighttime crowd. So if Dragonspear is here, they need an inspiration. For the rest of you, if you're like, how do we get in on this sweet action? If you support the Patreon at the $10 level, you get an inspiration to use to help the players. If you spend at the $20 level, you get 2 of them to use with the players, but it only lasts for the month, and then it resets every month, and you get them back again to use in any of my campaigns. So you have like 2 inspirations. You can use them not every campaign, but collectively throughout the month, you can use 2 inspirations on any of the campaigns that you like. So if you want to get involved with that, or if you want to sub at the $9.99 level, that will also give you an inspiration. So just something to keep in mind.
How many other campaigns are you running today?
Today, 0. I mean, there's no one else today. Yeah.
Right.
Use it.
So I think we could safely say that any of your nighttime crowd would be more than happy if we just said he'd use it. He'd use it for him.
Well, nah. Yeah, I can't allow. Unfortunately, there's a lot of ex post facto. It's a pool, right? Like it's a vault. We just get it from that. No, I unfortunately I cannot do that. All right, so go ahead then. It looks River. Let's go with the performance as you have it.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me what is there a story you're telling or a song that you're singing, and that you don't have to sing it for me if you don't want to, but like what's the nature of the story that you tell if you are telling one?
She's going to tell a story of how light was brought into the world. I'm just going to tell a story of how there used to be darkness everywhere until I'm just going to assume she knows this story.
Okay.
Until the voice of, what was the name of the creator in this world?
Iluvatar.
Yes, but there was a short. Anyways, until the voice of Iluvatar broke the silence and the darkness, and other voices began to sound from it as well. And they were the voices of the 7 of the Valar, and they wove together between them a beautiful tapestry. And out of that tapestry, Varda was able to put stars in the sky in the form of her sickle. And with that sickle, she smote the darkness and she slashed it until it bled light. And from that bleeding light from the darkness, she and her sister were able to grow these great trees. And in those great trees, there was more light. And there was the light of the moon and the light of the sun, and she meshed between them the light of the stars. And all that light had a sound to it, and all that sound was song, and all the world was glad. And that gladness lives in each and every one of us, so long as we carry within us these fragments of song and these memories of light.
And there's a deep silence in the cell, and you hear a quivering. You can actually sort of see them a little bit just because of the faint, like your eyes get adjusted to it, so you think you can see some movement, and you hear Haleth's voice saying, for the first time, you haven't heard him speak for a while, Do you think we'll make it out of here? Alive, all of us?
Yes. Yes, I do. Because somewhere right now, we are already outside of this. Somewhere right now, every part of us that speaks and that looks at each other and that remembers the light is already outside of this. And the rest of it is just us slowly trying to make our way to those parts of us that are still outside. And we can do it. We're doing it right now just by talking to each other and just by not giving in.
As you say this, you hear a and you hear it's the sound of old Aldor. Tani, you've been noticing that Aldor, who already was, as I said, sort of sick, has been getting worse and worse. He barely made it to Dol Guldur alive, and he's continuing to cough and kind of, just choke and cough and spit up something on occasion. But right after the river said this to Haleth is where you heard him cough again. Seems like he's kind of laboring to breathe.
Yeah, Tony's going to try to tend him, as best he can.
Make a medicine check for me, please.
Can I also add, through the, River has Warden's Gift, and has campfire tales and stuff like that. And
right.
The Warden's Gift is supposed to be able to inspire others through stirring words, through music, or by your presence alone.
Yep.
And I can't remember if that's it confers an extra d6 mechanically or something like that, but it is something that she's supposed to be able to do.
Right. And in fact, I think we. Let me take a look at the Warden's Gift because I think. There we go. So one creature gains a d6 die, can add that number rolled to the ability check, attack roll, or saving throw. So this could also be used on a corruption check. You can use this a number of times equal to your charisma modifier, but you only gain them back after a long rest. Right. So keep that in mind because that's going to continue to build up as an issue. But you could also use it theoretically on Tawny's checks for this. Although that first one seemed to be okay. His coughing stills a little bit. But this seems hopeless, Tawny. It seems like beyond. You just feel the weight of the impossibility of all of this. Even if you could somehow keep him alive, he needs light. He doesn't have any here. You could ask the orcs for help. What are they going to do? The sense that you get is just as you tend to his wounds, the continual struggle as you bandage these wounds that never seem to heal, as you try to staunch blood that never seems to stop flowing. It's very hard not to feel like, the hell is the point? I need you all to make a corruption check, please, again. I'm not going to tell you what the difficulty level is, but it's going to be different for all of you depending on circumstances.
That's a wisdom save, right?
That is a wisdom save. So this is an example where if you wanted to use the gift, you could, but you don't have to with the river, but you could do that if you wanted.
But I can only give it to one person?
Right.
I
creature.
I don't think she could really decide that unless it seemed like one was worse or something? Like one was worse, yeah. Okay. She couldn't decide it ahead of time, I don't think.
All right.
In fact, what I'd want to say is that it would probably be more up to the people who were listening, who felt affected or not. But
no, because you're trying to target this for a particular,
right.
Telling stories helpful to them in particular. Haleth would be different than if you were talking to Inga and say
right.
for Robar.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm guessing that Inga is going to get her second level of shadow now.
Yeah, and in fact, you're going to get 2 shadow points this time.
Oh,
you feel yourself just you have of course spent time in dark places, Inga, but not like this. Your mind these days seems to pass repeatedly back to the death of your husband. You are continually reminded of what it was like when he was with you, how you could not save him, though you would have if you could, how he had always told you that he had always had this sort of streak in him that made you feel like things would be okay, and now he's not here, and it's not okay, and your wandering has led to nothing. You found more friends, and now they too will be taken from you, and you have a little bit of a hard time as you're doing this, remembering that theoretically you're still dreaming somehow. It doesn't feel like it. It feels very, very real. And this dream is certainly the longest any of you have had. So let's see. For the river. Oh, wow. Everybody
so
had
bad.
some. Yeah. So Tawny.
I don't suppose I can use my warden's dice on myself.
I don't think you can use your gift
No.
on yourself, no. So, unfortunately, unless you have something specific to the shadow, like I can resist the shadow's badness, that's
Let me
clearly
look
what
at
this
my
is.
dice again, yeah.
While you're doing that, though, Robar is going to take another 2 points of shadow. You do not, Tawny, although you also feel the weight of this, as I mentioned, pushing down on you just as much. Like, that was harder for you to resist it this time around, you feel.
Other resource,
Also, I want to make sure that I'm noting this too. So I believe, just to be clear, so Inga's got 3 levels of exhaustion right now, yes? And you have 3 shadow points?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
3 and 3.
Robar has got, I'm sorry, Amel, I just want to make sure I get
No
through.
worries, yeah.
Robar has got also 3 levels of exhaustion now, I believe.
Think so.
And currently 2 shadow points?
Yes, I put
Okay.
the shadow points on the wrong character.
All right. And then Tawny, you have got 2 levels of exhaustion,
Correct.
but no shadow points as of yet.
Correct.
I've got 3 levels of exhaustion, and the only thing she's got that is shadow related is the dark foreboding, which is has a 6th sense of sorts when in the presence of shadow.
You're definitely in the presence of shadow. Big time.
And like a point of shadow lore. That's about it.
Okay. So then you're going to take, unfortunately, 2 shadow points as well. You also notice both you notice, Inga, that Lillimon, who of course you have not seen, they didn't keep Lillimon with you, or Stone. Lillimon and Stone apparently were kept in a little room. Nope, they didn't. They're kept in a little room. You heard Stone whimpering for a while and occasionally heard Lillimon's neighing, and then Lillimon stopped even doing that. So you haven't heard anything from Lillimon for a long time. And that is also weighing on your consciousness too, of course, Inga. As far as the river's concerned, you don't know what's going on with Stone, but you haven't heard from him either. As you're sort of alone with these thoughts, the door in the cell opens, and a woodman walks in bearing a tray of food. Now, this food that he walks in with seems to be good food. This is not the gruel and orc bread that you've eaten for many weeks. It's meat and roasted vegetables and good ale. Like, this smells amazing. And he says, "Hello, my name is Anatar. I've come to bring food to you." And he comes in and he sort of lays the tray on the ground. And he says, "How are you faring here?" There is no blue light in his eyes or anything, by the way.
Can I make an insight check?
Sure.
What?
I'm guessing you're doing it at a dissisadvantage at this point.
Well, yeah,
Exhausted.
I mean, unless you get so exhausted that you come out the other end
Yeah,
to advantage once
I
more.
pushed through! Yeah,
Insight.
feel the burn.
Oh.
I mean, so far he hasn't said anything that seems... He's definitely not deceiving you in terms of who he is, but why he's come to you, you don't know yet. But he does not seem to be like... It's not like, take my poison food.
No. River takes it upon herself to say, "How are you here?"
He says, "I've been brought here. I am under the service of the master. He has many men in his service." And he looks at you, Inga, and he says, "Aye, and dwarves too, and other folk. But there's no need for you to suffer down here. And you least of all, you, a strong woodman like me," he says to you, River. He says, "kneel to the master. Accept him as your lord, and you shall be given a place of honor in his service. Think on this offer, friends. It is better to live than to die, is it not? This is the choice that I made, and I am happy to still breathe the free air." And he sort of smiles and points at the food, and he says, "I shall return tomorrow. Give me your answers then."
Question.
He stops, looks over his shoulder.
Could you leave right now if you wished? Go back to your old life?
Why would I choose that? There's nothing
Could
there.
you?
He says, I don't know. I haven't considered it.
How much freedom could it truly be if you can't?
He shrugs and he says, at least I breathe. That is something more than can be said for some. And his eyes sort of light meaningfully on Aldor, who, is still breathing, but not very well. And he says, I have no desire to see you suffer here. I hope you will make the choices that you must. And he bows and backs out, and then the door closes behind him. And Aldor doesn't even, sort of say anything, but Haleth sort of says, I don't care what he says. I don't want to serve him. And Rodwin sort of chuckles and says, as if he would permit an elf to live, let alone serve. When his time has come to decide what to do with me, I know what my choice will be. And then a person that you have not heard for a long time speaks up, and he says, I don't know about the rest of you, but I don't want to die here in the dark. It's Geb. He says, simple as that. What difference does it make who I kneel to or what oaths I swear? Can you eat honor? Will valor keep you warm in this dungeon?
River looks at Geb in a way that makes a lie of the fact that she doesn't have her weapons on her. And she says, when I met you, I didn't think you a particularly impressive person. I didn't think that I would have any regard for you whatsoever, except as someone to protect. But now, as much as I didn't think that I could think less of you than I did at our first meeting, I teeter on the brink. And I wonder if you, Geb, if you could be persuaded not to do this, not to do what my kin has done. And perhaps in that there is more hope. Why would you serve the master if it meant that you had to become the master, his master, if it meant that you had to go and pillage villages the way that Hakem was pillaged? Would you do that? Would you do that in order to keep bread in your mouth and breath in your lungs? Would you murder and destroy and burn good folk who you knew just to keep living, really?
And he sort of pulls himself up and he stands sort of very unsteadily. Again, he hasn't been on his feet for a long time either. And he says, I seen all of you, and many just like you. You take your time, you do your service, you are sung about. I've done it myself in my songs. The light that shines in the daytime. And when the darkness comes, that light is extinguished as surely as anywhere else. I could say that I admire your courage and your strength and he looks at each of you in turn, your care. I could say that I admire it, but I am not one of you. I am no hero. And though I do not know what will happen tomorrow or the day after, I would rather live to not know than to know for certain the blackness that awaits after death. And that is what all of us will get.
Inge turns around. She had been curled up in a corner and not been really interacting with anybody, but she's just gonna turn around to him and just say, darkness also awaits you outside that door. But at least, if you choose the darkness in here, then at least you will keep your dignity.
He says, dignity? I can't eat dignity. He seems, angry, broken, just despondent.
River will looks from him to the tray of food and just pushes it towards him and says, "Eat, Geb. Eat this while you can. Do what you want."
Make a persuasion check for me. Do it at +2.
I didn't add the +2, but
So
14.
14, but remember,
or 10 because of a disadvantage.
Yep.
Oh.
Do you want to use? Oh, you can't use that. Okay. 10. So he kind of shakes his head, and then he kind of plops down next to the tray, and he picks up one of the root vegetables, like a carrot or potato, and he eats it, and he sort of nods at all of you, and he says, "It tastes good. This right here is what life tastes like. Life that's a lot better than philosophies is food." And he says, sort of to you, the river, after he's eaten a little more, "Thank you for your gift. I don't know if I have your strength, but I thank you anyway." And the day passes. Now, do any of you, he obviously is not going to eat everything. Do any of you want to eat any of this food at all?
No.
Okay.
No. No, River would I mean, if it looks like it's decent food, she'd want the others to eat it, but would also just mistrust it.
Okay. Is anyone else going to eat it?
Well, I mean, Inge is a dwarf, so she can, like, even if it would be poisoned, it would probably not do much, but yeah, she's like gonna try a bite. And
Tastes
see
real
if it
good.
Tastes funky.
Doesn't taste funky.
Doesn't taste funky, okay, and like just like gonna put like some of it and like put it away, like maybe for later time, like something that looks like it won't spoil quickly.
Okay. For those of you who ate of the food, you can remove 1 level of exhaustion. For those of you who didn't, I'm going to take that into account when I ask you to make this corruption check in just a minute. So I think right now, I actually should have asked you first, Trem, but I know you're honest. Would you have eaten the food or not? I don't remember if you would have. So you wouldn't have. Okay. So that means that Inga, you're going to be at 2 levels of exhaustion now.
Yes.
Now, and I need you to. I'm not going to ask you to make a corruption check yet. Not quite. The Anatar, the woodman, comes back the next day, and opens up the jail cell. And he comes in, he sees the now empty tray of food, and he says, "I see you've eaten. That is good. I hope it provided you some sustenance and comfort. And now of the offer that was presented to you. Who will serve?" And so there's silence, and as you look at each one, Haleth doesn't even look in his direction. And/or doesn't even move. I mean, he's barely alive as it is. Rodwin has her arms folded, just sort of staring up at him. I assume none of the 4 of you are going to get up and be like, "Hey, I'll do it," so I'm guessing that you're not.
No, River wants to ask a question, though.
Sure.
She says, his name is Antar?
Anatar.
Anatar.
Anatar. Tell us, Anatar, where did this food come from?
And he says, "From above, the lands beyond the Master's Tower, not far from Roskabel. I think you know it."
And was it obtained through barter, through trade?
He smiles.
Did you grow it?
He smiles and says, "Why does that matter?"
It matters.
His smile is fixed, and he says, "Well, to me, food is food, and I cannot answer your question." And he
Will not answer the question. There's a difference.
You can see that his smile does not break. He says, "Still, my question has not yet been answered." And
I know what that feels like.
He's like, listen, you. No, I didn't do that. Slowly, Geb stands, and he shuffles over to the side of Anatar, and he looks back at all of you, and in particular, his eyes linger for a moment on your face, River, and then he turns and shuffles out of the cell door, and Anatar's smile brightens slightly, and he bows and says, "At least one of you has the sense to live, then." And he departs. The cell door clangs. Now I would like you to make a corruption check for me, please.
Yeah, this is not gonna end well. Wait, that was wisdom saving throw. Yeah, 6.
Wow. Okay.
For fuck's sake.
Well, so that first one was for you, Tani?
Yeah, it's the
Jesus.
+6.
Tani is just like, I will not yield. You know, but like,
It's a dream!
it's a goddamn dream. Okay, so everybody else is going to take 3 shadow points here.
Oh my god!
So that means that Ing is at 6. That means that Rabar is at 5. It means that River is at 5. And Tani is still at 0.
Stupid dice!
As you see, well, it's not just that. As you see sort of the steps retreating, or you hear the steps retreating into the distance as the sound of the echoing cell door slamming and Geb is left. You hear just sort of maybe a sniffle from Haleth, perhaps. Not far from you, actually, nearby, you hear one quiet, slight whinny, and maybe just a little bit of a whimper, and then it fades off into silence as if it has been unconscious and removed. And that is where we will end the session for today. So we end the session in the deepest, darkest place that the Fellowship has yet
This
faced.
is not depressing or anything.
This is so sad!
I know.
Oh god!
It's this part of the story is designed. It's, again, this is a Tolkien feel thing, though. It's kind of despair. I know.
I would like Inga would like to do one last thing, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah. What would you like to do?
Yes, okay, and as the time passes again, like after this, she is gonna start singing.
What is she gonna sing?
She is gonna sing the Bard song because, if I may.
Okay.
Okay. Now you all know the bards and their songs. When hours have gone by, I'll close my eyes. In a world far away, we may meet again. But now hear my song about the dawn of the night. Let's sing the bard song. Tomorrow will take us away, far from home. No one will ever know our names, but the bard songs will remain. Tomorrow will take it away, the fear of today, it will be gone due to our magic songs. There's only one song left in my mind, tales of a brave man who lived far from here. Now the bard songs are over and it's time to leave. No one should ask you for the name of the one who tells the story. Tomorrow will take us away, far from home. No one will ever know our names, but the bard songs will remain. Tomorrow all will be known and you're not alone. So don't be afraid in the dark and cold, 'cause the bard songs will remain. They all will remain in my thoughts and in my dreams. They're always in my mind. These songs of hobbits, dwarfs, and men, and elves, come close your eyes. You can see them too.
I think that's a good way to bring it to a close. Thank you, Tarry. Lovely stuff, guys. Lovely stuff. This is it's a wonderful campaign inspired by a wonderful writer. So, but it's great that you guys are along, doing such a wonderful job and investing it with yourselves. Let me start down below with Amal. Sorry for the sadder session, but it's not all going to be fun and games. There is a great deal of sadness, and as you said, there is still hope that remains. So, where will the fine folks see you next? I know all you're going to be like, can we play tomorrow so we can get out of this? Like, please.
Yes.
Like,
Can we
I
do
know,
that, please?
I know. I wish. But yeah. So, where will the fine people find you next? What do you think about stuff today, and where will they see you?
Well, I think this was a really gorgeous session and really timely in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly thinking about the ways in which Tolkien's work remains extremely relevant to us constantly, and just to remember too that that Tolkien lived through some really horrifically dark and despairing times.
Yes, he did.
And also was a staunch anti-fascist in word as well as deed. So, so it's good to bear that in mind and stuff. So I thought everything about this was great. I think that imagining like what's going through River's head in particular is, was there some way to get out of the burning inn that wasn't considered and stuff, and how anathema it was to surrender, and I can imagine that like kind of spinning through her head in the darkness and stuff. But it's got so much resonance, especially because the way that we all talk about this moment is that it's the darkest timeline, right? And it's like it does sometimes feel like a terrible dream, and so there's all of that going on, feeding into this, and how effective I think this was. So it was really an amazing thing to play. Thank you guys all so much. Tarry, that was so beautiful. I've never heard you sing before, and it's so lovely.
Thank you.
So amazing stuff. Where can people find me next? I am not moving for a while. I've been traveling for the last 3 weeks, so you will find me on the Tinternets. You can find me on Twitter at Tithenai, Tithenai, like this chat, and on my website, and on my Drip, which is a subscription service that I have where I write essays, stuff about film and television, weird conversations and encounters that I have and stuff. And beyond that, that's basically it, I think. Yes, it is. That's me.
Very nice. As always, really well done today, Mal. Thank you, and I look forward to reconvening with you, etc. next month.
Yeah.
Moving right on up the line. And also, when you get a chance, Mal, I know you've been traveling, check your email regarding something that I sent about this and speculate. It's a long story. I don't want to get into details, but yeah.
Okay, I'll double check that. I don't remember seeing something, so
okay.
I will double check.
Yep. But thank you. Good stuff. Tarry, I second that notion. It was very lovely. And I think that was well played, and it really kind of fit. Again, I one of the reasons I love D&D and this particular, I happen to love this particular game with it, is that it really kind of fits the mood. So Inga was definitely suffering as much or more as anybody else, and so it was really nice to see that. So very lovely. What did you think, and where will the fine people see you next?
Well, this was depressing.
Yeah.
Yes, no, this was great though. Like, yeah, but yeah, not a great spot to be in right now. So yeah. But yeah, and don't be afraid in the dark and cold. But yes, yeah, this was great. Yeah, people like I won't be really available next month, per se, because I'm traveling a bunch.
What?
No.
So they're in the pit even longer.
Yeah, no, it's like I don't have my schedule like at the top of my head right now, but yeah, like I know I won't be like available the 2 middle weeks because like first like my aunt is like having her 60th birthday and throwing like a huge party over an entire weekend. So like I'm gonna be traveling to the north for that, and after that we are gonna go to Denmark apparently for a week, and then the week after there's gonna be more traveling happening. So yeah, like don't know about schedules right now, but yeah. So yeah, and otherwise.
That's cool. How about tomorrow? Let's do it tomorrow.
I know, right? Well, I'll talk about this off stream, but one of the things we can look at maybe is, I'm just looking right now, the Tuesday the 7th and the 28th would give both those middle Tuesdays a miss. So that would allow you to have the beginning and the end of the month. So just a thought. I don't know. We'll take a look and see what your schedule's like, and you know, we'll figure it out.
But yeah, like otherwise people can find me online on, like, I've not been like super active lately because a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, like I'm on like Twitter, Tumblr, DeviantArt, Instagram, Patreon, Tunes Up, and other stuff under the name Tarry Tunes, same name as here. So yeah, like just like choose a social media platform of your choice, and you might probably be able to find me there. So yeah.
Sounds good. Thank you, Terry. Of course, Will was not able to join us today because of stuff going on, but we will have him back next month. You should definitely follow him over at Encounter Roleplay because he does a lot of great campaigns there and everything else. And I actually really would like to see how Robar would handle, so hopefully next time we get together, it'll be interesting to see how Robar is handling this darkness from the horse's mouth, as it were. Moving right along, that leads us up to Tren. Good job working with Robar today, Tren, with Tani. And yeah, of all of them, somehow you maintained, your resistance to the darkness. Mostly because you're just like, it's a dream, goddammit.
Just about to say, it's a dream.
It's a dream. How did you feel, and where will the fine people see you next?
First of all, to address Charlie's point about going to Denmark, if you don't want life to imitate art, where we are currently in prison, don't go to Denmark, because Denmark's a prison. We have heard that from another very good writer.
Yes, indeed. A goodly one, which there are many wards, castles.
Confines
I'm gonna need some context for this. What?
It's a line from Hamlet. Image. Just remember, Tren, you could be bounded in a nutshell. Count yourself a king of infinite space. Were it not that you have what?
Bad dreams.
Bad
well,
dreams.
I mean, like, ever since like Shakespeare lived, like now, like the borders are open, so like we are not actually going to be like locked up in Denmark. So.
But Denmark's a prison. Never mind.
Yeah, never mind.
Hamlet said
change.
so. Yeah, especially since Shakespeare's time, they have changed a bit. Anyway, so yeah, today was craziness, just a bit of craziness. And last time Tani was in this situation, he woke up much more easily than this time. So he's kind of racking his brain trying to figure out how to get out of here again. And he's focusing on what he did or felt the last time when he woke up and saw Arame?
Yes, Irame. Mm-hmm.
Irame. Okay, because isn't one of the Valar Arame?
Yeah, but Orame. Yeah,
okay.
She's with an I. She's with an I.
Orame is the Lord of the Trees, the great hunter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that doesn't get confusing at all. But then the Silmarillion is rife with that sort of thing. So
Then there's also Aramark, who serves food to all that. No, I'm just joking. That's not the case at all.
So where can people find me? I'm usually on the internet. Oftentimes, just follow me on Twitter. I almost everything goes through Twitter. If I'm going to be on a live stream, like we're not doing City of Mist this week because Gen Con. So I think the next time I will be seen will probably be back here again. I think for D&D.
Yes.
For more of Strahd.
Curse of Strahd, which is also actually, yeah, we're in a very dark place in a lot of the campaigns right now. Yeah.
Oh, but that's okay. I have my backup character prepped.
Dead children and all that. It's really uplifting. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I even have the voice picked out for my
for the new
my
one.
replacement. Yeah.
Well, we'll see. Let's not kill off your old one immediately. But let's
He
see what
already
happens.
died once.
He did. Only inspiration saved him.
Yeah.
But thank you, Trent. Good stuff as always. Wonderfully gifted voice actor and stuff like that. Yes.
Did I already backed out of it? $440,000.
Wait, no, it was already at 480. It went down.
Well, the thing says that 13,825 backers pledged for 376,454 pounds, which when you convert.
That works out to that. Oh, okay. Well, that's a hell of a lot for a couple of dog miniatures. I'm just kidding.
When they ask for like 20,000.
Yeah. No, I know. It was amazing performance. That's awesome. That's cool. But wonderful job from the entire party. Really enjoyed this a lot. There is depression, but it sort of fits some of the mood, and there is, believe it or not, somewhere there is light, even if not in the dungeons of Dol Guldur. So it may not seem that way, but there is light somewhere. May your hope be a light to you when all other lights go out, as they say. Until then, though, much love to my party. You guys are the best. And I will see Trendane and Tarry and Amal and, of course, Will, as soon as we'll get him back next month as well, back here for this. So, chat, can we get some love for them? And thank you, folks. And I will see all of you wonderful people very soon. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.
There we go. All right. Good stuff, folks. Wow. That was intense. Sometimes when you read this stuff on the paper and you see sort of like the way that the story is built up and everything, there are times when it doesn't, you kind of don't even feel how intense it's going to be at that moment. You give it an A-. It was really interesting to see that as I was going through it, I'm like, this is even more intense than I expected it to be. And of course, that's what happens when you take just the words on a page, but then you invest it with the sort of life of the gaming experience and the players there. That makes a big difference. So that was great. J.R. Tolkien. Good stuff. And when you have really good players to go along with it, that's great. So again, very, very fortunate that I have my wonderful players with me. But that is going to do it for me for now, though, because in a little bit over 20 minutes, under 20 minutes, I mean, I've got Pen and Pixels over at GOG. I'm only going to be playing for 2 hours today, by the way, because I have got to get going to Gen Con. So I'm going to be doing this, and then we're going to be heading out to Gen Con. And so I really hope you enjoyed this today as much as I did. Thank you for those of you who did the resubs. Thank you for those of you who followed. If you haven't done that already, please consider doing so. Please consider following the channel and checking out the channel in the various ways you can do so. The YouTube, where you can see past broadcasts of this campaign and others, ! ArvTube. Obviously the Steam group, obviously the Discord, ! ArvCord gets you over there. My Twitter, ! ArvTweets. You could check out the shop with merchandise from many of the campaigns we do on here, ! ArvShop. And then we've got, of course, the Patreon sitting right there at $3.93.96. That's what allows you to inspire players. It's also what allows you to get professional critiques of your writing, because I am a writer, and epic character backgrounds and poems and stuff like that. Plus, it helps the channel as well. ! ArvTreon for that. Thank you, Dragon. And then last but certainly not least, of course, is that sub button, which is sitting right above there. I think we're right now at 37 or 38 subs, so we're real close to hitting that 40 sub level, which would be kind of just a neat milestone. So hopefully we're able to do that as well. I want to thank everyone for being here. You are all awesome. And I'm going to see you wonderful people over at GOG, I hope, for some awesome Battletech coming up in about 15 minutes. Thank you to those of you who are still here. Thank you to Dragon Spear, Terry Tunes, best mods in the business, and Terry, wonderful work tonight. I love that song. Thank you. Thank you to my regulars. Thank you to IAK, Ace Theer, Amal. Again, Amal, great stuff. Thank you so much. Great playing today. Thank you to Bananaman. Thank you to Bananaman. Thank you to Clever Handle. Thank you for the follow today, Clever Handle. Thank you to Commander Root, to Darken Wolf, Decaf Smurf, Day underscore ECAG, Aaron, Jagtress. Thank you to Margaret Crone. Thanks again for stopping by, Maggie. I appreciate it. Thank you to Mex. Thank you to Mr. Mano, to Nonstop, Questionable Results, Scraticus. What's up, Scrat? Thank you to Slow Cool. Thank you to T-Nus Mephiston, Trendane. Great job today, Trendane. Thank you, sir, as always, my friend. Thank you to you, Christensen, and of course to my regular Uncle Elias. All wonderful people, subs, patrons, everybody, you guys are the best. Now I got to get going because I got to go get ready for my stream over at GOG, where I will continue with Battletech, where we won't have the same level of depression. We have just big stompy robots punching each other, which is a very different feel than what we got here. But thanks, everybody. And don't forget, this coming up after this will be Gen Con on Thursday. I'm going to be doing a live stream of my Assignment Impossible show live from there. May also do a live stream on Friday, just a sort of demo of something in the morning. And then Saturday night, we'll be doing a live stream of the live event called Return to the Forbidden Library, which is the sequel to the adventure I wrote last year. I wrote the sequel this year. So that is going to be happening then. So that's what we've got going on. You are all the best. I love you all. Best viewers on Twitch, and I will see all of you wonderful people soon, hopefully over at GOG in just about 15 minutes. Until then, thanks, everybody. Be good to each other. Have a good day.